We are live. Top of the morning, top of the evening, top of the night, whatever time zone you are on. We are live tonight with AM, Margot, Amp. Painting Truth, power is out. So Painting Truth, once her power gets back on, and hopefully it will get on, she will join us in this chat. United Kingdom, we need you to get her power back on. Get the woman power back on. What's going on with y'all over up in there? All right, so we are going to what I want to clear up straight away. Let me let everybody say hello.
Yeah,
and then I'm going to clear up misconceptions or preconceived conceptions about the attorney. So go ahead and say hi, everybody.
Okay, I'll go first. Hi, everybody. My name is Margot. I'm 33. I'm a tattoo artist, and I am dedicating the rest of my free time to researching with this great team of men and women to find out the truth of what happened to Kanika. And our goal is to get this case reopened.
That's a good point. I guess I'll take the lead from there. My name's Amp Easy. I'm a 36-year-old kitchen manager here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I typically just comment here and there around YouTube, but recently I've been getting a little bit more involved. So what's up to everybody? What's going on? How y'all doing?
Alicia.
And hello, I'm Alicia. I'm 36 years old from the Seattle area. I am a dental assistant, and I just, being a mother, naturally became very passionate about this case. And so I've put a lot of time and a lot of sleepless nights into this case.
Yes.
Okay, and I think Painting Truth, she's from the United Kingdom. Like I said, their power is off. She was supposed to be here. I am back and forth with my phone, going back and forth on the phone with her. If power comes back up, she will join, and everything will be good. You know me, I am Parenza Harris. I have a degree in computer forensics. I taught for several years, so I love information. I love education. I've been into technology for years. When I started off in college, and I'm not going to tell my age, a long, long time ago, it was for education and technology. So, and
awesome. I think that's great because you're here as someone who, we come from all walks of life. I think it's great that Amp works in a kitchen. So nothing's going to get past him when it comes to this issue. I think it's great that Karen actually, and for people who don't know, she has been an expert witness in court. She's testified on certain things, especially dealing with surveillance, anything to do with computers, forensics of that sort, all the stuff that we've been talking about that we need. This is her. And so I think it's really important that any questions that you have or anything like that, she's the person to ask, and she'll be very honest. If she doesn't know, she won't, she's going to research it and find out, because that's the whole point, I think, with this case, is to find out the truth.
Right.
Whatever you believe, let's focus on the facts and follow it where it goes.
Right. People are sending shout outs in the chat, so y'all can oh, Letha!
Hey, how you doing?
Okay.
How you doing?
Letha is here. Okay, let me tell you about Letha. I actually first saw her on Carlton Entertainment, and so I'm excited she's here. Come on, Letha.
Yes. How you doing?
How you doing? We all here. We AM is here. Margot is here. Amp is here. I'm here. PT, they having problems in the United Kingdom. The power is out down there, but if her power gets back up, she will be here. But this is Letha. Letha, introduce yourself. Come on.
My name is Letha Brawley, and I'm from Muscle Shoals, Alabama, deep down in the South, and deep down here, we J for K every day, all day long, and Mama T.
That's right. That's right.
It's very sad, y'all. It's very sad.
Come on, Letha. Come on.
It's very sad. I'm representing Mama T, and not Mama T as a mama, That's what I'm representing as a mama, because I got a daughter, and
That's
and don't nobody want, really truly, we got to stand up for our kids and stuff, because I remember it used to take a whole village that would raise kids,
takes a village.
and
It takes a village. That's right.
hey, our men got to step up. What are men at? Y'all got to start
Amp
protecting
is on
the
here
women
tonight.
and the children.
Amp is
Good.
on here tonight.
Good.
Yes.
Lisa, I think it's really refreshing to hear you say that, because when you're in a case like this, sometimes when you cannot speak to the public, and by the way, a gag order is not normal.
Correct.
People have a lot of misconceptions about you. And I think a lot of people, some people who pay attention to this case are also hurting. They may have lost children, lost family members. And, if you get rumors spreading around, I've heard rumors that she collected money from Rosemont, from the hotel, to pay for the funeral. That's not true.
No, that's not true.
That she's been paid off. That's not true. Her attorney took her case for free. So I think it's important that we have people who really understand what's going on to kind of stop the lies,
Exactly.
Because this is a mother literally fighting.
All right, Mom.
On Facebook.
Okay.
I stay on Facebook fussing about Mama T getting into it, folks getting time out, deleted and stuff, because, it's sad. It seems like they want to hear bullshit. I'll be like, okay, and what's your point? And they just don't listen. It's sad.
Right.
My. And I know I'm going to piggyback off that and say this about attorneys Larry Rogers. Okay. It was some misconceptions or preconceived notions in the beginning. Attorney Larry Rogers, he's not just accident and liability attorney. He don't just deal with accidental deaths. This man deal with civil suits. He's a civil attorney as well. So if she needed any attorney to litigate for her on her behalf, it would be him, because he can turn around and sue the state of Illinois. He can turn around and sue the police department. This is who she needs. Right here. He can take this to the Supreme Court. This is what this man does. He was on Sandra Bland case. He was on Fernando's case. Come on now. Yes. This man has been on some serious cases. He's been on some serious cases. He's not going to sit up here and play. He's not getting ready to play with them. Why do you people? I want people to think about this. When they put the lawsuit in, they're suing the hotel, the realtor company, and the kitchen. All three.
Which is them suing the Stevens family without actually suing them.
Exactly. Thank you.
Which is smart.
Thank you. And then he can turn around and get
sue the state if he had to.
And get the state.
And let's cover this real quick too, because her daughter is dead. Okay. There is no other recourse for her to get any sort of change in policy or behavior. There's no recourse for her to have them admit that they handled this case wrong, but to sue. And the only way that you can teach a lesson to someone is to sue for money. Okay. There's no other way to do it. So for people to say it's all about money to her, no, it's not. That's just the only thing she can get. That's it.
Right.
Well, let's be honest, and let's just say, as a parent, as pretty much just a normal human being, we can definitely say there was negligence on behalf of the hotel. We can definitely say they were doing things they shouldn't have been doing, like letting minors have alcohol and marijuana in a hotel room knowingly. So that would be just the next honest thing to do if you're not able to go after them criminally, would be to go after them civilly.
And that's the only way that you actually teach someone a lesson. For instance, like if you trip and fall somewhere and it's because they had, an extension cord, for example, that wasn't tied down, that legally is supposed to, that's how laws get made. Something happens, you sue, and then there's a change in policy. So there's no other, you got to think about it this way. Why do freezers have an emergency button in case you get locked inside? Because that happened to someone before and they sued and it made the company change because what? They didn't want to get sued again.
Right.
So that's the whole
Right.
point of this. You got to use your brains, people. And, you know, me and Alicia had a private conversation one day, and it
Amp,
basically,
what happened to Amp? Where's Amp at? Did we lose him?
I think we did, honey.
Yeah.
He's the link. He can pop back in, though.
Okay.
Just send him a message.
Okay. Yeah.
Alicia and I talked about this. There's no dollar amount that you can put on your child.
No.
You know,
That's
there's, you know, like she doesn't come up with that amount to her lawyer and say, well, I think I want to sue for $8 million. If you've ever been in a lawsuit, the lawyer will tell you what an amount is, you know? And
Right.
I think maybe, and
Like
I think
my
some
mother,
people just,
my mom,
go ahead, babe.
I just want to say, I live in Washington State. My mom lost her leg from an on-the-job injury about 25 years ago. And when we went to her lawyers, he basically brought a chart out and broke down what every body part was worth. Basically, you hurt your back, this is what you can get. You break your leg, this is what you can get. You lose a limb, this is what you can get. So there are guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
So that right there, you know, shows you.
Right. So, you know, and it's because it's happened before, but it literally, I know this for a fact because I've been in a lawsuit before and won. And my lawyer at the time, I was 10, he did sue the doctor, the company that I fell at, their insurance, and the company that owned them. That's what you do when you have a good lawyer, you know. So she's not money hungry. She's just as hungry. And I want to say this too. You always hear these rap songs and people want to rap to it and be like, yeah, kiki, that's cool. But money does equal power. First you get that money, then you get that power. Well, Young Thug's right. Because for her to be able to get this settlement and stuff, think about, you know, court's awful. And we're going to cover that too of what really goes on. But one, this is her only recourse for justice. Two, when she's able to get this money, think about, she's a good person. She could live a life where she could dedicate her time then to help other people. I know for a fact that she's going to go after the state of Rosemont. There's no, like, I just feel that in my soul because that's the right thing to do. And that's going to make a change in Rosemont. Kanika story, like how it touched us, I think this is something powerful and bigger that's going to open a lot of other things and change the way that city handles things in general. That city is 75% business. 25% people.
Right.
So who do you think they put first? That needs to change.
Right.
And it's owned by the Stevens family.
Right.
They owned it for years and years and years.
What sort of nepotism shit is that? Y'all don't think like that Stevens family, they keep everything in the family and they're pulling a Trump where they're having all their best friends open up business here. Oh, blah, blah, blah here. So they're not in it for we're the little guys, people. The people that are fighting for Kanika are fighting the state. We're fighting the corruption. Because we're
fighting for democracy. That's what it boils down to, your democracy.
Absolutely.
It's about democracy. It's about the right to fight. It's about saying no to a narrative that said she was drunk. She was so inebriated. She walked into this freezer. She was a college student. She was a teenager. She was somebody niece, she was somebody's daughter, she was somebody's sister, she was an aunt.
And
Come on now.
And plus she was only 19 years old. We all was teenagers before. I got drunk and everything else. It's not what she did, it's what happened to her.
Right.
Speak on that. Speak on that, Miss Letha. Go ahead and speak on it.
Please.
We all been 19 years old. I have, and we got drunk and did things that teenagers do. It's not that she got drunk, is that what happened to her at somebody else's place of business, and it wasn't an accident. Everybody in the whole world see that, and I just don't understand. I don't understand why they don't see it. Well, yeah, I do understand it now because Margaret just explained that, because it's owned by everybody and this and that, and they don't want to lose out on any money. That's all. It all boils down to money. So if it boils down to money with them and everybody else, it really don't boil down to money with Mama T. Like she's seeking justice, and that's the way she's going to get justice. So they need to leave her alone. That's what they need to do.
And I want people to know that sending formal letters, keep sending your formal letters to the Attorney General in the state of Illinois. Keep writing and sending formal complaints and stuff to senators. It is working. People are finally getting their return calls and contact back from them. Because listen, it is the Attorney General's responsibility when you file a formal complaint to go in and investigate.
Right. And the more people that do that, the more powerful it is.
We don't just want the case reopened. We want a new investigation with all new people.
Correct.
We don't want it. We don't want Rosemont to investigate again. They didn't do it right the first time. So
well, I never saw any yellow tape in the freezer, crime scene tape. They didn't wear footies on their feet. And I just know this from reading and watching TV and other crime scenes that it was not handled right at all. Not at all.
I think we all are in agreement that when the police showed up there and spoke with Crowne Plaza managers, and Karen explained to all of us how the surveillance cameras, how they work on a network that's all connected. They have remote surveillance. That means anybody who's worked at like Domino's, McDonald's, or whatever, just regular kitchen jobs, they have cameras in there. And the owner of that company can watch you guys stealing money out the drawer, making extra pizzas from his cell phone. So I think really where they fucked up, right? They see that. Where they fucked up, excuse my language, lady, on this is that people who cared and paid attention, the first people that were like, that don't make no sense. There's no way that could happen. I saw so many videos on Facebook that were people who worked at Burger King, McDonald's, wherever, that was like, no, our freezers, they don't do that. Like, there's no way she could get locked in that. So it was regular, everyday people that took notice to this case that knew there was something wrong. You don't have to be a forensic analyst to see that something's wrong at first.
And somebody just mentioned about the hypothermia, especially here's the thing with that. She had swelling of the brain. Hypothermia prevents swelling of the brain. As a matter of fact, hypothermia is one of the methods they use to prevent swelling in the brain. You didn't explain why she had swelling of the brain. You didn't explain why her lung was collapsed. You didn't explain why she had those abrasions and inclusions on her knees. You didn't explain any of that. So my thing is this: you came out with the bogus ruling on her cause of death. You didn't explain the things that I wanted to know. Like, what, did her lung just collapse because it collapsed? What, did her brain swell because her brain just swole?
That doesn't happen. Medically impossible. There had to be trauma. There had to be trauma. And you have to in an autopsy, especially when it's a death like this. Her actual autopsy with toxicology and everything is 13 pages long. That's it.
Right.
They don't.
And there's lots of tests you can
go ahead, babe.
In an autopsy. Not just, there's lots of tests you can do in an autopsy. And like we spoke about. See?
Well, listen, was it a fact or fiction
as an
that she had a date rape drug in her system? Was that a fact or a fiction?
That was a fact. According to the pathologist or the
medical examiner.
Pathologist never took a look at this autopsy. A forensic pathologist never took a look at this autopsy, the one that we have from the Chicago Tribune. And the research that I did about this is that she had alcohol in her system. I'm looking at it right now. And she had the drug topiramate, mainly known as Topamax. Topamax is actually a popular drug. It's not like it's unheard of. When I heard it, I knew exactly what it was, because Topamax works with your GABA receptors, which your GABA receptors are in your brain, and they work the same way when you take an opiate. That's why what's really popular right now are those pills called gabapentins or Neurontin. Neurontin's been around for a while. But when you mix that with alcohol, if you just overtake and take like 2 of those pills that, like overtake one or whatever, because I'll be very honest with you guys. I'm 4.5 years sober. I've done that before. I've taken Topamax. I know what it's like. And I took it to get high. Okay. That drug is commonly known in that scene as Dopamax. All the signs that she was exhibiting are signs that you do, especially when it's your first time taking it. It'll hit because, when we talk about this, we have to talk about tolerance levels. I believe her mother and her family when they say that she didn't drink a lot. I have not seen videos of her drinking. If she was partying, trust me, they'd be out there. I've got those pictures on my Facebook, unfortunately. So I believe her mother. I don't think she was holding that bottle of Hennessy or whatever. And so you have to understand tolerance. The amount of alcohol that she had in her system wasn't even a lot. It wasn't even that much, but because of the Topamax in there, that affected her body in a way that makes you, what it did to me, I can tell you what it did personally to me, what it does in gabapentin. It fucks you up like an opiate. You are literally high. You're very talkative. Sometimes you can get really internal into yourself and kind of even get paranoid, but it makes you very loose. Sometimes you even nod out like an opiate. It really is a drug that makes you not in control of your body is the best way I can explain it. And the way that she was walking, because here's the thing that bothers me is that when you look at the surveillance videos in the hallway, you see her that she grabs her shirt and covers herself as if she's seen somebody, and she's aware enough to adjust herself so her breast doesn't show too much. She goes by a bathroom and it's a men's bathroom and realizes it's a men's bathroom and doesn't go in it, right? So she's avoided 2 bad situations.
She catches her balance. She caught her balance.
So how did she wind up in a freezer and couldn't get out? There's no way. There's no way.
I believe they edited her into that kitchen, and I'm just gonna say it like I mean it. I believe it. I'm gonna say it like I mean it, because those paths that I'm watching is the same paths that she walked along in the hallway by the elevators that she was supposed to be in for over hours. If you listen to the attorneys when they first came out, they said, how in the world is she walking in a hallway for an hour? The lobby right there, and didn't nobody see her? Stop playing.
Come on. That's negligence.
Well, that's to me, I'm like very confused because we see a lot of people on the footage. We see lots of people walking around. We see security. We see other people that stay there. Why aren't they there when she's there?
And I'm gonna tell you something. When it very first came out, the footage, like in September, October, when the very first footage came out, a lot of them have been edited because I have the ones. Like I said, I've been on this since Mama T came on Facebook and asked for help. And a lot of it's one video where it was another security guard in there, and he actually worked for the Rosemont Police Department. But all those have been edited out. All of those have been edited out. He worked for the Rosemont Police Department. He actually was standing at one of the protests when Jay Money and them was standing in front of the Crowne Plaza. He was there. He worked. I saw the footage when he was in the hotel. I saw that.
I saw him.
Oh, really?
And you never see him again in any other footage. You never see him again. He was in that hall. He was there.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Hold up. Cover that again. Hold on. I was reading the chat. Like, what?
Hear me okay? Can you guys hear me okay?
I can hear you great, honey.
I can.
The Rosemont Police Department was working security part-time at Rosemont at the hotel. He was there the night Kanika died. I saw him in an earlier footage. You'll never see it again because it hadn't been out there. I saw him in the hall in an earlier footage when it first came out. And I also saw him when Jay Money and them were protesting in front of Crowne Plaza. He was there too, but he was dressed in his police officer uniform. But he worked that night because I saw him.
I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that because we all know this, especially if you've ever been in the hood or whatever. You know that cops will take security jobs part-time to make extra money because they don't really make that much money. So a lot of times it is hotels, conventions, even cops you see on the side of the road when they're doing construction, just sitting in their cars. That's part-time side work for them. So cops do security a lot. And we all know the nepotism in that city. Karen covered that they do police conventions in the Crowne Plaza.
They do. So, they hold conventions. They hold conventions at Crowne Plaza.
You mean to tell me police were there doing security
at Crowne Plaza?
The night Kanika died, I saw him in that footage, and I recognized him again, like I say, at the protest. He was standing in the hotel door.
I believe you, 100%. My question is this, babe. Okay, so if he was doing security, then he must have had access to surveillance. Why did they let that girl roam around for as long as she did, as messed up as she was, in desperate need of help? For how she looked like she could have been sexually assaulted the way she was in the hallway. And no one stops to say, hey, honey, you okay?
But let's go here. Let's go here. When she entered the kitchen and they want to talk about motion sensors. Well, let me tell you something. because I used to work for ADT Security, which
Here
was
we
known
go.
as Midnight. Okay.
Mhm.
When she walked into that kitchen, the motion censored cameras should have triggered an alarm to alert them that somebody's in this area. Do not play with me.
And what
And
they
I
do,
think,
just
and I
ignore it?
think,
There's
wait a
no
minute.
way.
I think Rosemont Police Department is a little bit in their feelings because the Attorney General is contacting people back. And I know the Attorney Generals and the senators are looking at this. I don't care if they in their feelings. They should have did a thorough investigation the first time, and we wouldn't be here having this conversation.
And
That's
Kanika
Like
would
this.
be here alive.
Like this right here. And then they had opportunity, chance after chance, to get the whole unit. They had opportunity after opportunity to get the surveillance unit. They should have got the entire unit. One
Let's talk
police
about
officer
that.
noticed, wait a minute, one police officer noticed, because I'm going to go right there. He noticed, he's going through the footage, and he noticed, oh, it's motion sensor cameras in the kitchen. I don't have the video footage to that. You should have got the unit then. You didn't get it the first time. When you saw that, you should have got it. Don't let them send you nothing on no thumb drives. Go get the unit. So we can see what they deleted before they gave you the videos.
Get him,
That's
girl.
what I want to know. Not only that, they keep uploading. They keep re-uploading the pictures. And I said, okay, they can be in their feelings if they want to. You should have did it right the first time. You can re-upload how many pictures you want to re-upload. You should have did it right the first time. Now they all in their feelings because people pointing out stuff that they didn't do. That's your problem.
It's not about
Here
your
it is.
feelings.
Here it
It's a
is.
dead
Here it
girl.
is. Here it is. Yes, she is. Somebody is dead. Their life is gone. They're not coming back. Okay.
I watched
Here
something
it
on
is.
ID. I watched something on ID, y'all, and it happened to be about a murder case that happened in Cook County, which would be Rosemont them, and it was the same. It was the same thing. They were talking about they didn't think they did a good job. So this stuff has been happening a long time. It's just that Kanika woke everybody up. That's all it
Right.
was. She woke us up.
It
That's
has
right.
been. And do you know, after it happened, now see, and I got to put my weight a little bit on the Attorney General, but before I go there, I need to say this. After it happened, in that state of Illinois, they were talking about, some people were talking about coming up with laws about freezers and hotels. Okay, that died down. You didn't hear any more of that. And my thing to the Attorney General, she's not running to be Attorney General in the state anymore. Good for you. Fine, good. But what she could have done, what she could have done, because she's above the police departments in that state, is she could have said, you know what? You say you don't need the FBI to investigate, but guess what I'm going to do? I'm getting ready to usurp your authority, override your decision, and I need them in here.
Let me
This
ask
some
you that. They can
foolishness.
do that, right? Like, let's, for instance, say, okay,
Yes, she could have. Yes,
so
she
the
could have.
attorney, she could have
did
sat
her
there and
own investigation. She could have did her own doggone investigation on
because that's
Rosemont.
her job, right?
Step aside. You right.
That's her
She's the
job, right?
highest. She's the highest in that state.
And she was elected,
When it
right?
comes to the law. When it comes to the law. Yeah.
So,
Lisa.
so she, you know, she could have been aware because the investigation didn't just close overnight, although it feels that way. She could have known and just seen what was going on there, seen how they treated her case, saw that mother cry on TV, how she got treated so fucked up, and been like, you guys rejected the FBI's help? Why would you
This is
do
what
that?
she did see. This is what she did see. She know how Rosemont get down. She had to take them and override some stuff before with Garth Brooks. Them not wanting to release those records, which was freedom of information. That was her that did that. She had to go there with them on that. Not only that, them not wanting, and yes, I'm gonna go here, Rosemont, the city of Rosemont. You got people in the city of Rosemont going into a public library looking up porn. They didn't want to reveal the person who was looking up the porn at the library.
That's bad.
Mighty God.
She had to come in on that. She
What
had to
did you
come
see
in
the-
on that.
What did you see the Facebook pages of some of the police officers that have the little young girls on there? And
Talk
he said
about
he couldn't
that.
put his picture. Yes, he couldn't show their faces and stuff. They all crooked.
Yes,
That's what
for
they
sure.
like. Little bitty girls. That's what they like. And so look at Kanika. Nice voluptuous body for her
Yes.
age. Young girl with
Yes.
hair. Come on, and they getting ready to hold their little triple X porn conference up in that right there. come to the Crowne
Because
Plaza.
if you see in one
Yeah.
of the kitchen scenes,
She was inebriated, so there you go.
and even in the kitchen, and in one of the rooms, they had pillows. Why would you need pillows in a room in the kitchen?
5 pillows. There was like 4 or 5 of them, Letha.
Yes.
For what?
Yes.
Right.
Why would you need pillows in a kitchen?
That's
Now,
unused.
even if you work, now I know I didn't work jobs where I didn't went to sleep on a job, but I would maybe have 1, but not 5. What you need 5 for?
See what they thought was, and then let's look at the way the fake narrative.
Stop real quick, Karen. I like how CEO said.
Oh,
I love the fact that they miscalculated the amount of attention this case would attract. KJ was supposed to be another missing person, just like the others, and that's one thing they were wrong about. And so now, it's sparked up a whole, big thing. Now we're on it. We're woke. A lot of people who weren't before are awake now.
And you have to give a shout out to Painted Truth too, because she's in a whole nother country.
Oh yeah,
and I'm sure she saw everything that we saw. And for a person from a whole nother country, can you imagine how that make our country looks, the USA?
Thank you for saying that.
Bad.
Thank you. But I think that's true though, because like here's the thing: a lot of people who care about this stuff, because I literally I love Karen. I cried when I found her videos. I cried when I saw Painting Truth's video because I was like, and this is no disrespect to anybody. Like everybody has their right to opinions, and I appreciate all research because the truth is we don't know what happened. That's the problem. But when I saw what they were doing, I was like, oh my God, these are people that are like really taking this shit seriously. I had no idea what to do. I didn't know that you write an attorney general. I didn't know that you were supposed to write senators and that actually works. I was one of those jaded people that were like, yeah, right, write a letter, never get it back.
That's how I came in contact with Miss Harris, because I be all on YouTube looking at everything I can, and she was the only one that was just straight to the point and was actually putting up where we could call and contact people, and that's what. And I wrote her and I told her I appreciated it, because I really did, because you are the only one that actually give you contact numbers and stuff that you can do. And I feel, and then I saw your video too when you were in Michigan, and I thought, okay,
I've been doing this for a long time.
Well, it was a breath of fresh air when I found Karen. It was a breath of fresh air that we had somebody about action.
Thank you, ladies. And my thing is this: when you go in to shut a Capitol building down, when you go in to march upon offices. Now, you guys didn't see the part where we went back and we were pointing at the ones who were looking out, sneering, whatever. And we started saying, shame, shame. Y'all sitting up there in the office building and you got people out here hurting and you think it's funny. Hold on. We pay your taxes. We pay taxes. We pay your salaries. That's number one. We also served everybody who was voted on in that state eviction notices. We put them on their door and say, guess what? You getting up out of here. You getting up out of here. You're not down here doing your job. You're not down here doing your job. We voted on you to do a job, the people's work. We've sent you here to protect people. It's got to be people over profits.
Yes.
Got to be people over profits. And Rosemont is not about people over profits. They're about profits over people.
This could happen to anybody. What happened to her, it could literally, and I think the thing that's great about this group, is that one, we've got somebody with experience. She's testified in court. There's a lot, if this was about tattooing, there's nothing y'all probably couldn't tell me. I don't know. But this is something totally new to me. I'm just like a locker room lawyer. I watch a lot of crime podcasts and listen and ID discovery. That's my shit.
Mine too.
But baby, I love it. I love how criminal minds think. I love to try and get into the mindset of them. So I think where they fucked up is that a lot of regular, degular, schmegular, everyday people gave a shit. You're right, CEO. You're right. And also I've noticed a lot with this case, a lot of the people who care have lost somebody they love.
Right.
That's the other thing. They have lost someone that they love, and maybe they didn't get the help and the city didn't fight for them. So I want to say to you guys, helping Kanika and helping her case can be cathartic for you, because you can do something and give someone a very unselfish gift of supporting what's right, at the like that is what matters to me, because God forbid this happens to me and my mother's got to fight an entire fucking state and the nepotism in Rosemont and fight against big money, millions, billions of dollars, movie stars in their stupid restaurants before people. Like,
Right.
I want people who give a shit and that are smart and intelligent to band together to help my mom.
What are you saying, AM?
It's Ange from the 717 said, Crowne Plaza has been raided 3 times in Rosemont for organ trafficking. That should have been shut down. 3 strikes, you're out. Once was enough. And I so agree with her.
Crowne Plaza should have been shut down for that black mold they had inside that hotel that I saw. That's an environment.
Right. So negligence. Once again, negligence.
That causes asthma. That can cause bronchitis. They should have been shut down for that.
The thing about it is, even in the police reports, the security guards and even admitted that he told the kids they could smoke weed. These are underage kids. Put towels on the door, take the smoke detectors down. That right there alone is their negligence. Right there alone, in their own words,
they were culpable. And you know what? I know. I'm sure, Letha, you've looked too. Because we did this in the Hangouts a while ago, because I checked the reviews and stuff for Rosemont online. I checked the employee reviews. Girl, I'm a tattooer. I made a LinkedIn account. I put my shit under fine art. But the point is, these, like, I checked the reviews of some of these places, and there are regular people who are saying they had smoke detectors that were covered up. That's illegal. They had put plastic bags over it. Our room smelled like this.
You can see them on the videos. You can see them on Ari's Live. You can actually see that. So we know that's true.
That's right.
Wow. See, and the thing about this is, the police, the detectives, come on now, they're going back, and the first detective, he's going back and he's re-asking questions again. Why did you go back and ask those questions? You asked them again for a reason. You didn't believe she walked into there by herself. They didn't believe that. They didn't believe that. And so my thing with this is, like, Frank Cicilline, or whatever his last name is, who's intimidating them? Who's intimidating them up in that police department to the point where they can't come out and tell the truth? Is it one righteous person up in there who will stand up for justice? Just give me one.
And how long Frank gonna be living? That's the thing too.
The thing too, yeah. I was thinking the same thing.
He went against him.
Just give me one. Give me one somebody up in there with some integrity.
There's got to be one in there. They just scared.
There's got to be one.
Same with the Crowne Plaza. There's got to be one out of that whole hotel that would be willing to say they covered it up. They did this. They did that.
Ladies, I believe that's going to happen. I really do. I think the more that we go live and discuss this, and people can feel like they can trust us and know that there's honest, everyday people who love their families, who care about what happens in this world. I think people are going to start reaching out and contacting us, wanting to speak. I really do. I pray about that, y'all. Like, I pray for Miss Martin. I pray for her attorneys. I pray for my group and people researching this case online, people I don't even know, because it's the right thing to do.
It is. And people need to be covered, because let's talk about the stress of losing a child. Let's talk about, usually you go into you can have a nervous breakdown. You go into some type of trauma. I'm thinking, are these people serious? They don't know what type of trauma she's going on internally inside Teresa. Then she got to be in court every day, almost every month. And you can't even really mourn your daughter properly because you got to turn around and go to court.
Right.
Then you have these people on here with these bogus
family when you can't work because you're going to court all the time.
Right.
You got to miss your job to go to court. And then you have the city, you have some silly judges, and I got to go back to these foolish judges stripping away democracy. Who had the audacity to turn around and approve a restraining order or a protective order against Teresa so she couldn't be out there protesting? That's about democracy. You're not getting ready to take my democracy from me. I don't think so. Then you have Then you have Rosemont police officers out there trying to harass protesters. No, it's our constitutional right. We got a constitutional right to protest.
I think 19 people got arrested.
You're not taking my right.
I don't know if this is a fact or fiction. Maybe you guys can check it out. But on another channel that's pretty legit, they said that Teresa had attempted to get 2 restraining orders against some Mitchell man that worked for the Crowne Plaza in 2000 and I want to say 12. She went twice, and both of them he wanted a restraining order against her, and she wanted one against him. Both of them were denied. So I don't know if that's true or not, but
I don't know. I can't speak to that. Yeah, we'll have to research it and pull it up. Okay. We can pull up a formal court.
I want to touch on this really fast, ladies, just because I think what you guys said was so important. I'll be very honest with you guys. It's a lot easier to live honestly. I was raped a couple years ago, and it was really a fucked up thing. It spiraled me into addiction. I had a lot of shame. But what the worst part was, and you think that you'd get support, but the worst part was like, I was scared to even like smile in a picture because people would be like, oh, well, you know, if she was raped, why is she smiling? Yes. You know, like the stupid things. And people do that to Miss Martin. They'll sit there and they don't want to spend time on Rosemont and fight the big guy. They want to pick on the little guy, which is just mind numbing to me because they'll sit and nitpick her video and say, oh, she's smiling. Oh, she's praising God. She must be rich. She's all this. Like, are you fucking crazy? What's wrong with you? When people grieve in all sorts of ways. I didn't grieve in a healthy way. I was a mess. You know,
you got to also remember Miss Martin had cancer too around that time.
Thank you. We're gonna vilify her for having a support system. And let me say this: if Miss Martin was such the devil and demon that y'all claim her to be, a Mason and all this other stupid shit, do y'all not think that someone in her family, someone in her inner circle would come out by now and confirm all that craziness? Not a single leak about Miss Martin has come out. Not a single bad thing. No one from a past job has said she's stolen anything. Nothing.
Right.
This woman is a cancer survivor, lost her child stolen from her from a city that doesn't give a fuck. And we're sitting, not me, but there are people out there examining her more than a state that doesn't give a shit about you if you were there.
Well, if they examined her in the right way, she always asked for peace. She always asked for peace. She always asked for peace. So I don't even understand where they're getting all this other stuff. She asked for peace. And even with some of her close nieces or cousins, like Jazzy and all, they'll say, I'm going to respect Mama T and be peaceful. So she's holding it down. She's holding it down.
She's handling it way better than I do. I didn't handle loss well, because when something like that happens to you, they steal parts of you. You know, her daughter was her world. That was her family. You can tell.
Yes,
they stole that from her.
Pain Truth just said it's from these bogus theories. Some people have set up and created theories. You have no documentation for the information, which has led to frustration for many people. But see, I cannot.
Will you say that one more time? Say that one more time, Miss Erika.
They have no documentation for the information that has led to this frustration.
I like that.
I'm stealing it.
But on this channel and other channels that fight for justice, you're going to get a revelation.
I really believe, you guys, I really believe in my heart. I talk about this with my mom, my family, my coworkers. I believe in my heart that we can get this case reopened. You know, you watch these things on TV and you're like, oh yeah, I wonder how it happens. It's what we're doing right now.
Oh, Moesha is hitting it. She's hitting it. She's hitting it. What I say all the time. When news reporters try and attempt to interview me,
deflect blame,
I go deflect, spin and deflect. They're deflecting.
They first came out and blamed Kanika, and one said that it was suicide. Then they came out and said that she was drunk and messed up. And the irresponsible reporting from the Chicago Tribune saying that alcohol and drug resulted in her death. And I can't remember how they put it, but there's no way that is this is huge, you guys. Like, this is huge, and this is real life. I sometimes catch myself saying this, like, this is real life. We're actually, because this is new to me. I don't know anything about activism in this world. That's why I was so thankful for Karen. It's not because she's cute, funny. It's because she knows her shit, and she can help me. Right.
Damn right.
I may not know that, but I'll write the damn senator. I'll do whatever you ask me. And Karen also said it, I think is great. You know, we all like, as women, I think we like crime and stuff like that because our intuition helps us figure things out. We just
we are the FBI, we are the CIA,
and we don't forget. And an elephant, we don't forget nothing.
We don't. Yeah, that naturally. That's what we naturally do.
We're discussing this case. I mean, I have I write everything down. I laugh and tell Karen. I was like, our group. That's the only group where I'll have a phone call that I actually take notes because it's true. But
and another thing, if she walked in that freezer, okay, from the footage we saw, she was immaculate. Her hair wasn't a hair out of place.
Talk about that.
Her clothes was neat. Okay, so what happened if she walked? What happened from the time we saw her and she got in that freezer? How was she wet?
She didn't do that herself.
How was her hair like that? How was her eyelashes coming off? Why was her teeth knocked out?
Thank you.
Amen. And why was she dirty? Why was she dirty?
Why was she dirty?
They didn't show the pictures of the freezer before, the way it looked before.
Talk about the hallway,
what was she doing? Was she rolling around in dirt? What she do? Slide across the kitchen on a bunch of dirt?
Drag marks. She has drag marks, and a friend of mine, like I said, because I talk about this case with people.
Her clothes are filthy. How she get all that dirt on her clothes?
And she was
in the freezer. In the freezer, when you see her underneath her arms, her jacket is pulled up as if someone picked her up underneath her arms and dragged her. The marks on her bottom and her thighs, the back of her thighs, as if someone dragged her into that freezer. There's no way she walked into it.
And let's not forget her shoe and her ankle.
That's right. Somebody stood on her feet. Somebody stood on her shoe.
And that's why That's why I'm so upset they did not take an X-ray in that autopsy to see if there was some broken bones.
Talk about that. Talk about that, AM. Talk about it. Talk about it.
Because, like I said, with the autopsy, there's a lot of tests they could have took. And an X-ray, so simple, not expensive. Why couldn't they have taken those kind of things around the body to show if there was damage to her bones, which we know. We see blood, we see skin broken. What's underneath that? So that right there would have, for me, been enough to say she was beaten or hurt.
Let's dig into this. Let's explain that. Let's give her some dignity and explain what happened.
Right.
And if she died in the freezer, when most people die, they lose their bowels. They urinate on themselves. Was any of that in there?
No.
Because she wasn't dead that long to me. I already said she wasn't dead that long. But Pain Truth brought this up. She said yes, and why was her lips pink? But I'm gonna let Pain Truth, when she do a live, really discuss that. I'm gonna let her discuss that when she gets on a live.
Right.
She's gonna break that all the way down. She's gonna break it all the way down for you.
And then they said her hair is a wig. No, we wear weave.
It's a weave. It
was a weave. It was a sew-in. It was a sew-in.
And if she's got it parted in the middle, her own hair was on top of it.
Own hair was on top. That's right.
And it was going to get messed up. That's why it looked like that. And all these black women that's in these chats that's talking about it like that's a wig. Come on now. If you see their pictures, they know better than that. They know. We all wore weaves. They know.
There are some,
I'd like to just touch on real quick. We as women, as adults, we know we have a gut instinct. We know right from wrong. And just because we listen to our favorite YouTuber, they may, have their own theory. They may have their own opinion. We don't have to agree with them, because if they really, are adults, they won't care if there's a difference of opinions. You don't have to follow someone because they want you to. They say you should. You should go with your gut instinct. You should go with what is right and wrong that your own instincts are telling you. So therefore, I just want to put that out there. People
That's
should be
great.
leaders and not followers.
Like
True
her
thought.
instinct was telling her to get up out of there. I'm ready to go.
No,
That's
you're right.
in her
True
text
thought
message.
said, Karen, cover this and you guys, because this is actually good. Her shoes were clean, except for that one mark on her shoe that was not a shoe print that matched hers, so she didn't step on her own feet. There was someone else's footprint on there. And True Thoughts 100 said she was so dirty because she was wet and then dragged. I believe that. I do believe that.
I do too.
I don't know anything about weaves, so I'd actually like you guys to explain that further a little bit, to explain why her hair looked like that. And what also, because this has been a big point of contention, was what happens to hair that's a weave when it gets wet?
Okay, if you got, like Kanika, she had extensions, but on top of the middle part was her hair, and it was just laid on top of the extensions in her hair. Okay, so all that on top, most of that on top was her hair.
Wow.
Okay, so if it get wet, or if you sweat, or if you fight, or something like that, then your hair is gonna mat up, because she may not have had a perm in it or whatever, it's gonna mat up, and it looks like that, especially if it get wet. It looks like that.
There's no way she would have done that to herself too, because you just look at her and see pictures and videos of her. She always cared about her appearance.
But then plus, Margaret, you could go, but when she walked in the freezer, so-called, you saw her hair then. It was immaculate. She was immaculate. Everything was in place. So what happened from the time that we last saw her and then to the last time that we did see her?
And they didn't explain that to us. And then they closed the case.
They cut the they let the hotel, they allowed the hotel to edit that part out, just like they allow for all we know, Rosemont Police Department could have took that camera, because that's what Frank, when he sued them, that was in his documentation. They was
that's true,
for contaminating a scene. That's what they like to do, and that's why I said everybody that was there is a suspect, and I cannot count the police out.
Nope.
Painting said the live where Kanika has the blonde wig, she says she takes her shoes off when she fights, and I've been in fights before, and that, I mean, I do that.
Yeah.
So
also, I just want to say, period, point blank, things that just, I find hard to believe. And one of them is how they can conclude, they can end the investigation in less than 30 days with no freezer footage, lots of unanswered questions. And then we know for sure there's all this negligence that, the hotel is guilty of. So it's very frustrating for me, because those are facts that they concluded that investigation. There was no freezer footage, and we have all these unanswered questions. And so how can they just say they're done? How is that lawfully right?
They turned over her property to her mom. I don't think, now correct me if I'm wrong, you don't turn over any property or property until later on, till everything is done with.
That's right.
And they gave it to her right then and there in that plastic bag.
You're supposed to take that in to get it processed. That should have been down to the station to be processed, and you hold on and you get back later.
I know. It took years. It took years for her to get her fiance's stuff after he was killed. Why did
they make them wait so many hours sitting in that hotel? Why? Why did she have to wait so many hours?
On the inside. They had to be on the outside.
On the outside, and that's wrong.
The police, Karen caught on the audio, and she posted on her page. She caught on the audio that the police, when they got into the back rear entrance, which is where I think she was assaulted, because it's dirty and it matches what's on her. Freezer is not, y'all. Okay, so the police says on the radio, y'all, he goes, come in through this entrance, bypass the front, because that's where her mother was. They made her wait for hours before knowing it.
It was 5 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah.
More than that. It was longer than that. Teresa said it was longer than that. They had to wait. She had been waiting at the hotel. She said she didn't leave.
Why are you telling police to avoid the mother?
She was.
What are y'all doing?
She was. And they said don't go through the front entryway.
Come to the back.
Okay. And they wanted to discuss the camera. We need to discuss what we're going to do about this camera.
Yep, I heard.
What camera? Because we haven't seen footage from it, and we should. It was there, right? Y'all talked about it.
And what made
There's no way it wasn't working. Go ahead, babe.
What made me upset about that even when they release this, what is the IP addresses to all these cameras that was every camera's assigned its own IP address. I don't see any serial numbers to the camera. I don't see the IP addresses in this. I do not see the data policy for the hotel, which is vital.
Wouldn't that be in the FOIA? If that's evidence they would have collected, right? That's what they should have.
It's
And what was a little
that you don't see?
And what was a little weird dude doing when he was back? They were preparing her body for Miss Martin and them to come back there. What was he hiding in his jacket? What was he doing? All of it looked so suspect.
He was noticing the cameras. He was looking around like, "Ooh, there's camera.
Yep.
There's camera."
You can actually see him doing that.
Oh,
and then also,
wow.
why was the police at the hotel earlier than before they even said that, that they were looking for Kanika? They were there early. Even the coroner and that little dude was in that motel hours before Kanika died. Hours before she died.
Benita in the chat, Benita Hill said, "What about the police saying she's breathing better?" I have a question about that too, because I just heard this.
I didn't hear that.
You know what? It's I have to find that audio and listen to
audio. Okay.
Because it's on a video. It's on a video. And they do mention something about breathing better. And I'm thinking, what are they talking about?
Okay.
But I think almost that was them. I wonder if it was them treating either. I mean, I feel like Miss Martin would have talked about if she had like an anxiety attack and got nervous or whatever and needed oxygen. I almost thought of that. It could have been something like that, but I feel like we would have known. But I almost feel like that was an accident that they said to try and make themselves look good. Like at first they were going to try and say that she was alive and then passed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't trust the police. I think they would lie about shit. So they, one officer
just said, sorry, Margot, Painting just said there was some confusion there. When you enhance the audio, they say she's back there.
Yeah, see, that actually makes more sense. Because I don't think she was ever breathing, you guys. Like, we all say you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. We know that baby was dead, and we know that she passed away.
Okay. But for the sake of clarity, we'll have to go back, enhance the audio, and then play it so everyone can hear exactly what's being said. Right. Right. So we can hear exactly what's being said. And another thing that I would like to say is, let's talk about remote access. I'm sorry.
Yes, let's do that.
Employees had access to the company's intranet. That means you could be at home like I am now, strolling through.
Yeah, my boss has remote access to our computers, so I know how that works. Yes.
You could be inside the hotel, viewing footage, deleting frames. So it's if the police would have collected the unit, or if they would have at least got a bit by bit copy, right block it, get your bit by bit copy, then people would be able to go back and say, okay, let's restore this back to a place in time and see what they did. Let's see what they deleted. Let's see what they did not do that. They didn't do it.
And we cannot trust any.
Somebody did it, Miss Harris. You got to remember, these are crooked people, rich people. They always like to have something in their pocket to hold over somebody's head. Somebody got it. Somebody got something. They're going to hold as a leverage over somebody.
I think
I'm telling.
I think that the owner was notified immediately about this. I think that the owner knew that Kanika was in that freezer before her mother.
Who's the little Japanese women that came? The little Japanese women that came.
I got them in the video.
When she does that video, I did a lot of research on body language and lie spotting and body language and stuff. And I watched that video. Yes. I would love to talk about that.
I think I left you a message in the comment if you could get somebody to read their lips. Somebody that's deaf. Anybody that's deaf, know anybody that's deaf in the chat or something?
Yes.
Get them to read their lips. They can do it.
Alethea, and I'll tell y'all this. Go ahead, Karen. Go ahead.
Okay. I'll have to get with my cousin now that it's just clicking with me. His wife is an interpreter. She signed for the deaf and stuff. Yeah.
God bless you, Lisa.
I'm gonna have to show her that.
See, that's how come we all get together and we all, it helps. It clicks. They always say 2 heads better than one. And this is about a little 19-year-old girl that was killed. and that we just can't stand by and let this, just go on, just swept on the rug like ain't nothing happened. It haunts me every day. Every day it haunts me every day because I was on Facebook when Miss Martin came on live and was asking for help. And I'm like, what's going on? And it's just sad. It's just really sad.
Yeah.
Alicia, I'm gonna cover this actually in another video when we get painting back. We'll do it next Saturday, but just to give you guys an idea of a little bit of the research I've done, because I'm actually really glad you said that, because we talked about this, that like when you get together as a group and you discuss things, then not only can you contribute, but you can grab resources. And so just you saying that, Karen's like, oh, duh, because sometimes you get so into something, you don't see all the other shit that you know what I mean? But I watched the dishwasher footage of all of them. And like you mentioned, not a thing of yellow tape. People were just going in and out like it wasn't a crime scene. So I watched the detective talk to that lady with the Asian looking lady, I guess. I have timestamps and I'll just read a couple so you guys can see and understand what I'm talking about. One of the things about body language is that 55% of it is nonverbal, 38% of it's tone, 7% of it is actually your words. A lot of things is when you don't know eye contact. You got to think of like poker players. They always wear sunglasses because it's involuntary. Some of your tells. When you cover your mouth, it's your brain inadvertently telling you to be quiet. When you lie, you release adrenaline, right? Well, I didn't know any of these things, which causes your body to itch. So when people lie, they'll scratch their nose, touch their nose. That's
or move and wiggle around.
That's another thing. Let me say this. Okay, so gestures are involuntary, right? So when your hands touching and timing, when we tell the truth, we gesture and then we speak. When we lie, we say words first and then we gesture. So I was reading
on the ID channel.
See, right? Just regular people. But one of the other big things that I noticed in that video, and I want y'all to watch after, I'll send pictures of my notes. I took little pictures. I did little drawings and doodles with it too. The feet. Joe Navarro, which is an FBI body language behavioral analyst, said that the most honest part of our body is our feet. We might focus on the hands and face when we lie, but not the feet. So unbalanced foot positions means deceptive. Direction of your feet pointing. Like if I'm talking to you, right, but my feet are pointed towards the door, most likely I really don't want to talk to you. And the 4 signs of foot deception: unbalanced stance, rocking back and forth. 2, a lot of feet movement. 3, crossing, rocking back and forth. And then also locking your ankles, closing your legs. Now I'm going to send y'all this video of them in the kitchen discussing what's going on. And your mind is going to explode. I definitely want to lip read it. Don't get me wrong. But I was watching it now with this information and I'm like, they're fucking lying.
They was getting their story together. They was getting their story together.
Right. They're putting a fucking story together.
You could tell. And another thing, while you speaking of that, even in the police reports, they didn't record their statements. They said verbatim.
They did.
They said verbatim. So
who does that?
Who does that?
Right.
It was a summary. They was summarizing.
Yes.
And why did they re-interview witnesses? Normally, in a case, you'll interview someone and then you'll interview them again, especially people that were close in the party, stuff like that. You'll want to get at least 2 interviews with someone to see if their story changes.
They all would have been processed. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm going to have to process you. You was in the room. You're not going home tonight.
No.
Right.
And if you went home, I'm going with you.
Yes.
I'm going to get you.
Do y'all agree that something happened in that room? I think somebody happened in that room.
Somebody spiked her.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Somebody spiked her drink.
Went on. Yeah. Some drink spiking and some other stuff went on.
Part of me tells me that's why she's wet, is because they were trying to clean up the evidence.
No, what I think it was too. I think that well, I think it was that, but I think
another thing, you guys, the timestamps are wrong. Now that you said she wanted to go, I thought, okay, if she got there, they said at 1:13, and at 1:20, she's texting saying she's ready to go. Right. That don't make sense. You've only been there 7 minutes. You've only been there 7 minutes. If you were ready to go, then we wouldn't see so-called pictures of her partying in the room. I think the timestamps are all. And one of the videos early on, they got there. It was 12:13. Not 1:13, and even it showed it on the earlier footages. But like you said, they have deleted all them. but I still have that video in my phone. They actually got there at 12:13, not 1:13.
And it was
then later
Chicago
on,
Tribune. I'm gonna piggyback off you, Miss Letha. It was Chicago Tribune that was calling them out and said the time
yes,
steps are not synchronized. They called them out.
yes,
They said this is
yes,
an
they
hour
did.
off. This is
Yes,
an
they
hour
did.
off. And then they backed up.
Mm-hmm.
They backed up.
If they go back to the beginning, the very beginning, you'll find out a lot of stuff. And I don't know if anybody listened to Dr. Ali when he was doing his lecture. Yeah, Ali, I did, but a lot of stuff he said is true. A lot of stuff he said now is coming true. A lot of stuff.
The thing is, I think people discredit him because of other shit or whatever. But here's my thing: at the end of the day,
I don't want to go off into.
Okay.
No, we don't have to. But what I'm just saying, what Painting said is, we had a conversation. She said, "What's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong."
It is, and it's wrong for them to do all of that stuff.
Right. And that's the thing, is that unfortunately, when you do stuff like that, it kind of discredits you. So what's great about over here, I just really appreciate the work that everybody's contributing to this, because it is going to make a difference.
I understand what Miss Harris is saying too.
Oh no, Miss Lisa, you're fine. You can say whatever you want. I'm just saying, is in terms of him, I know
what you're saying.
Permission to bring people stuff. But I'm gonna talk about Rosemont all day long. Right. Y'all ain't got to give me permission.
But I'm just saying, the way that some of these YouTubers did, like, I paid for that lecture. I never got it. I never got it. And I don't think nobody else did. I never heard anybody in the chats or anything else say they got it. And that's what turned me off right there. Because are you doing it for the love, the likes, or the money?
That's what we're doing over here. Is we're doing it for the love. Everybody in this chat, I want you to know that if something happened to your child, like what happened to Kanika, anybody in this chat, I don't care who you are, whether I like you or not, I would do this for your child. This is a messed up
Miss Letha, you just snatched everybody wig. Oh my God, you snatched their wig.
Seriously.
Can
you imagine how I felt? I'm sitting here, I'm listening to all this, and then I'm paying for it and never got it. I'm like, I'm emailing saying I ain't got it yet. I ain't got it.
Honey.
Still ain't got it.
Who was that? Sorry, what was the lecture about?
Everything. I mean, the last lecture he was gonna tell who did it, how it was done, the team players and stuff like that.
Okay.
I will say this over here. That's one thing that I'm very adamant on, is that this isn't about money for us. We're never going to ask for money from you. We're never going to have a PayPal. I'm not discrediting anybody.
All I'm saying that if he was really for justice for that girl, for Kanika, and you have your own law firms, your security and all this stuff.
Right.
Then be about it. Be about it.
That's right.
Be about it. Be about it.
Do some change.
And we need to address that too. Now, this one issue I will address. When people started getting confused and maybe tied up and twisted up and got misinformation about Teresa Martin attorney, excuse me, he's licensed to practice law in that state.
Right.
You have to be a licensed attorney to practice law in that state. You can't go in talking about you're going to litigate for somebody you're not licensed in that state. You're going to lose the case.
People will talk about him without even searching Google. It's so silly. And what that says to me, all of that disinformation and believing it, is that you've got some pain in your heart. For you to think bad about somebody you don't even know with no proof on it. And it's a woman who's literally lost her child and is fighting for it. And you're spreading rumors saying that she sold her child, that she's a Mason, that she's a devil worshiper, and all this nasty stuff. You know what that says to me? It says nothing to me about Miss Martin. It says a lot to me about you. It says to me that you're a hurt person. It says to me that something. Go ahead.
Being real with it, being very real with it. These people live in Chicago. These people not gonna sit by and let nobody keep talking about their mama. Because I
wouldn't play that shit.
A lot of shit gonna go down. This called street stuff. I mean, you better watch out. Yes, ma'am.
Outside.
Yes, ma'am. They move in silence. Because I ain't gonna lie, because I would.
Yes, they do.
Talk about my mama and stuff like that. We would move in silence.
Well, and let's talk about this too. Not only did she lose her daughter in a year, but, and I believe, I don't know what you ladies think, her brother was murdered. Her brother. That's a hit. That's a hit, you guys. The way he was done, that was a professional hit.
Well, Big Head was first. You remember some dude?
Yep,
YouTuber
OT
named Big
head.
Head. He was
OT head.
first.
Yeah,
OT,
yeah, I do.
he was first.
I do remember that.
They shot him in the head.
Yeah,
So
I remember that.
I
these people
believe
gotta be
are
careful.
actually scared. So what you're doing here when you're fighting for them and you don't live in that state and you're fighting for them, God bless you, you know, because it might be really like, listen, if this shit happened in my hometown, I live in the South. Like shit is raw here too. We just had a judge fired here for saying the N-word. Like
Yeah,
they're
Good.
backwards
Bad.
back here a
Good.
little bit. Oh,
Good.
actually, it was my first protest at
Good.
that courthouse downtown.
Good. Good.
Y'all know how I
Good.
feel about that word.
Good.
But you know what? Let me say this before you say anything, how you feel about that word. We as Black people have to stop using that word too. I have got for a year ago, you know, my nieces and nephews was playing around and I'm like, okay, so you guys call each other that, but if somebody else call you that, it's disrespect. Respect yourself first. Respect yourself first.
Letha, I swear to God, we had this talk today in the chat, in the hangout. We really did. We really did.
But see, it's a different, this is what people need to know. It was coined as a slang term by us. Like, what's up, nigga boy? And that's the way you would say it. What's up, nigga boy? That's my nigga boy. You know, you like, what's up, what's up, what's up? That's my nigga, that's my nigga boy. Not nigger, not you're a nigger.
The hard R.
That's different. That's derogatory.
Right.
But if they go read
That's
what a nigga means in the dictionary, it means it don't say anything about color. In the dictionary, it says that, you know, an ignorant person or something like that. Because I have got mad at people of another color and called them a nigga.
Right.
They look at, you know, because it don't say no color.
Right.
No color.
Same here. Same here.
That really make them mad. And I just did it to make them mad. And it really made them mad.
Mm-hmm.
I think that white people need to realize that instead of using your privilege for yourself, you should use your privilege to help other people, because when we're all strong and when you do things selflessly and help people, that makes you a stronger person. And, you know, my dad's Syrian, and during 9/11, I got called a sand N-word. I got called a lot of nasty stuff in high school. And that was my first real, because I didn't look Syrian, that was my first real introduction into how awful it is to be called something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't mind if Black people use that.
I was 12 years old. I was 12 years old, and I'll never forget this old white woman looked at me and called me a nigger. I had it because I had an afro all through growing up. You know, I'm light skinned, but I'm a Black woman.
How'd that make you
half
feel?
Black and half white. And I was very uncomfortable. You matter of fact, I'll never forget that. I'm almost be 37, and I still remember what the lady looked like, what she was wearing, and where I was at when she called me that.
It was traumatic.
It was very traumatic.
You imagine you're about 20 years old, you just got out of high school, you're going to college, and then you working in a nursing home, and you dealing with the older, 90 years old. They call you niggas all the time. But then they'll tell you, pull a curtain and get in the bed with me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a nigga. So that's why they look at us. That's why they always have looked at us. Looked at us like that.
I feel like at
that
this
terminology
point
should not be no one should be using anything like that. This is J for K. I don't understand why someone would use such language towards another. We're about justice. Let's be about justice, and let's leave the other foolishness. Let's leave it alone, because when you have to run up on attorneys, attorney generals, police, and stuff like that, you're going to encounter some real situations.
And I always tell people, like, there's no reason to have all this beef and drama, because this case,
you can't talk like that when you're running up on those people.
No way. But this case is juicy enough. Like, all the gossip, drama, and stuff. Like, if you focused on this case and how corrupt it is, this satisfies me enough. Like, this is messed up enough. I don't need to start a fight with someone else because no one's doing a Kanika video. You know what I mean? Like, or no one's live or whatever.
Nobody have time to go down that path. We don't have time to go down that path.
No, like, I feel like let's use our time responsibly. Let's get together and really make something happen, because I truly believe in my heart, this isn't just something I do for funsies because I'm bored. You know, I really care about this young lady.
I have contacted the FBI, attorneys, and things like that. When they come to this channel, I need them to know I'm serious. I do not have time for the game. I don't have time.
And
I
you
had
got to
no
be
time
safe
for
like
it.
that, you know, and you dictate how people treat you. And I just want people to know that over here, like, we really want to solve this case. We appreciate your opinions and your participation. Like, we, you know, y'all know what I mean? Like, we can really open this young lady's case. Like, we
Right.
can do
The case
something
can
really
be
powerful.
reopened. It can get reopened. And that's
And this is how. It's not magic. You know, you watch these shows on TV and you're like, oh, I want, you know, this is how it's done. I never knew that because I was never involved in activism like this. And now I realize, and to focus on all that other stuff, it's a distraction. It almost makes you wonder, like, because I'll also say this about Rosemont hotels, because I've been in a lawsuit. The other side will hire private investigators.
Yes, they will.
The hotel will hire what they call risk management teams. And the whole purpose of their job is to minimize any sort of negligence or negative attention on their hotels. So, for instance, you know, there could be some people out here who are spreading disinformation and lies and stuff on Teresa that are just hired by a company that was hired by the risk management company. So it's harder to follow the money to find out who's doing it, to sit here and put out misinformation about this woman so that people don't pay attention. They get disinterested, they get confused, and then they just leave the case alone. So they don't write attorney generals, they don't write their senators, and nothing happens. I never knew that.
Spin and deflect. Spin and deflect. Spin and
Say what you said earlier, that rhyme or whatever.
I said spin and deflect. Oh, because they have no documentation for the information they've been saying is leading people to frustration. But when you come to people who are truly about JFK, you're going to get a revelation.
That's
I
right.
wrote it down. I did, y'all.
I was trying to memorize it.
I'll send it to you.
Please
I'm so glad. No, and I'm so glad that everyone's here. Like, we're going to do this every Saturday. And part of this being successful is people's participation. You know, if you have something to bring to the table.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. No, go ahead, babe.
Pain Truth just said Rosemont needs to be shut completely down. And the way you shut them down is by protesting. That's one way. See, protesting is in your face. Going the legal route, that takes time. You know, you have to send paperwork. It has to go through the process. You have to litigate. So on and so forth.
Part of it.
Here. But the in your face right now moment is the protest.
Well, you know, they're having a big Kanika Day tomorrow to protest from
and I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, me too.
Wonderful.
Yes, I think it's going to be very peaceful.
I think where's it going to be at? So shout out to her.
In front of Rosemont from 2 to 8. And I'm telling you, people coming from me strolling through the internet is people that's coming from all over. They're carpooling. Everybody coming from Mississippi. They coming. I'm telling you, it's going to be big. I believe it's going to be big.
I would love to be there.
Power to the people. Power to the people.
Power to the people. Yes.
Power to the people.
That's the only way we ever got anything done. And Martin Luther King, he was for all people of color, justice for everybody. And that's the only way you get things done. They set an example for us, and we got to do it. We got to do it. We got to do it. I need something, Miss Kinsey. You're going to help me set up some down here, because like I'm in the South too, and there's a lot of stuff that don't go on right, and there's some people around here that want to do something about it. We just don't know how to.
Letha, I'm in the South too, so let's connect, because when we do go and protest, like I'm bringing all my friends. I'm telling customers that I tattoo. But, like, this case has been a huge part of my life, and I'm not someone who wastes their time. Like, if I put my effort into something, a painting, I finish it. I don't have a bunch of unfinished stuff in my house. That's how I behaved when I was an addict. I'm very clear-minded and focused. And so it's so refreshing to be around other people that are humble enough to be selfless enough to care about somebody. We're not getting paid to do this. We're not asking you to pay us for doing the right thing. You know, it's the right thing to do.
It's the right thing to do.
I'm so glad we're touching on that.
The payoff is justice. That's what the pay is. It's justice.
That's right.
The payoff is justice.
Maybe it'll prevent something from happening to somebody else's child.
Yes.
Down the road.
This is the type of stuff that makes Rosemont do the right thing. This is the stuff that makes Rosemont fire corrupt people. This is the stuff that changes police policy. You know,
Rosemont
body
don't
cams.
like fire and corrupt. They don't like fire corruption. They like to
They
keep
gonna like it. They're gonna like it.
They don't like
They're
to
gonna
reprimand
like it.
people. They don't like to reprimand people. But hopefully when they get a new attorney general in that state in November,
Yes.
things will be a bit different. Because all of them are running on a platform of corruption.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's see
I
what they
saw
will do about
today
it.
that somebody had put on the internet that somebody had wrote something very, very nasty and cruel about Trump on Crowne Plaza graffiti on but they didn't, and then they were saying they didn't call the cops and nobody was charged because the hotel said they'll handle it themselves. And then they said the same way they did with Kanika case, and I thought that's true.
You're right. You're so right. I would like to mention, because this was one thing I wanted to talk about, because you guys had mentioned this earlier when you talked about her hair and being wet, and we talked about we saw her go into the kitchen and she looked beautiful, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much time do you guys think exactly passed before she got into that freezer? And where do you think just speculating, I'm just curious, where do you guys think that because I don't think she went in the freezer at all. I think she bypassed
now
that. Bumped into it.
When she walked in the freezer, we saw her one other time. She came, we just saw her head. She walked through the kitchen and we just barely saw her head. That was really, I'm sorry, I correct myself. That was the last time we saw her. She walked in the kitchen, through the kitchen, and then we saw just her head. She was walking, but that was the last time we saw her. So where did she go from there?
Don't you think
out the kitchen? She went out of the kitchen.
She did. She had to, because when she was walking through the halls and all that, she was moving. She was moving.
I don't care how drunk you notice what say exit. She was looking for.
That's right. And she wanted some air. She wanted some air. So she went outside.
She wanted to go home. She wanted to go home.
And she said she was ready to go.
Cry. That's the shit that makes me cry.
They cut them off.
And all the deleted stuff that the police report said that was in Monifa's phone, this and that. Why didn't they ever retrieve the deleted stuff that was in her phone?
Because they didn't want to.
They
didn't want to. They could have got it from the cell phone provider.
Yep.
How easy would that have been?
Too easy. Too easy.
And let's talk, because Karen covered this and I didn't know this, but Rosemont did an order of protection to preserve. These are all new words for me, y'all.
A duty
Correct
to
me.
preserve.
They did a duty to preserve for, finish this piggyback for me, Karen. They did it for Facebook, right?
They did it for the social media sites. It was the detective, the first detective that was there.
The one
he made sure he had his warrants for Facebook to preserve all their links. He made sure he had his warrants for the internet service providers. He was going through everybody.
Right.
Like the protocol. That's it. Right. That's what you're supposed to do. But when it came to the hotel, how come you didn't do that for the hotel? Especially
they let the hotel run their whole thing.
Especially their surveillance system and the way it was running through the local area network. How come you didn't issue that same warrant to them?
And when I see them talking in the kitchen, when they're discussing, and I mentioned the body language, just reading them, I think they were discussing that very subject there as well. I really do. I think they were discussing, because the two women that were there worked for the Crowne Plaza that were in there. There was a woman who was wearing denim, and then there was the Asian woman who was also at the front desk. And I believe that they were discussing cameras. They both pointed at it. And Miss Martin, when she came in there, finally, she pointed out, that was one of the first things she did. She was so smart to take like mental pictures and know. But I think that they were discussing how this is going to be an accident and why this is an accident. If you see their hand movements.
Even before that, they were at the front desk. I think that was on your video, Miss Hare. They were at the front desk when they first arrived.
They was already there pontificating about what they were going to do.
Yeah. And that's the part I said you get somebody to read their lips, because on your video, Miss Hare, you can really see their lips. You can really see it.
I'm gonna find I'm gonna ask my cousin, and then I have a friend I graduated high school with. I'm gonna ask.
And let me say this before I forget too. If you when Irene got scared, when people had put her address. She went to the police station, and it was somebody in the police station that was recording Irene and went live with it, and she was talking to whoever. You never, yes, ma'am.
I remember that, Letha. Letha, you old
Miss
school.
Harris, you gotta go back and listen to it. Somebody has decided. You hear her say, she said, they keep talking and talking and talking. And then that woman said, well, somebody got to shut up. And she said, that's what I'm not saying. They made a deal. You can hear her say, I keep telling people, go back and listen to that video. This girl went live with Irene. She had no idea she was being recorded. And when she did, she got into it with the person that recorded. And the woman told her that was with her, said, you're in enough trouble already. You better be quiet. And go back and find that video when Irene, or Google it. When Irene, you can hear her. She's saying what happened. They made a deal. So who they make a deal with? They was at the hotel.
This is true. I remember that because the kid even went outside and he was like, yes, I remember that whole live, baby.
That's
oh
the
my
one.
God.
That's the one.
You are
that's the one.
Yes.
That's the one.
You got to find that and send it to her. I'll look hard too because I know it's got to still be up somewhere. It's probably on YouTube. And I got to get your email after this, Letha, so we can do a hangouts because that really bothers me. That was really true. I really feel like if we got a lip reader, we'd be understanding because I think like you lady said that y'all are right that it was an accident.
Margot, your sound.
Sure, it's me.
I don't know who that was. It just sounded like a tractor or a motorcycle.
Listen, I'm in the South, but not that South. Is it better now?
In that South.
Y'all have motorcycles. Come on now.
I do have a motorcycle.
Tractors too.
Oh my God. I think that this was an accident because it had to be an accident. They had already signed the deal for the Caddyshack to come in. Painting did a great video on that. If you haven't checked it out, check her video out. She covered that really well. This money was already spent. And we talked about on the first live, we talked about, how they could have handled it, how they could have done a real investigation. Oh, that's not me.
No, that's the kid in the back, Miss Letha. Oh, the kid.
I made him shut up.
No, you're fine. We don't even care. I think that all this money was spent. Crowne Plaza had a contract. They were coming in. They were going to receive money from the Caddyshack, and to delay that would have cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably. All the construction was being prepared. All those contracts were already out. And because of the nepotism in that city, Mr. Stevens was going to make a lot of money from doing all these deals down to who puts the concrete down, who does the drywall in that place, everything. So there's no way.
How much money do they need? How much money do they need? How much money do they need?
It's a great question.
The more they get, the more they want. The more they get, the more they want.
Say that again.
The Bible says money is the root of all evil.
The love of money. The love of money.
Yes, the love of money is the root of all evil.
Yes, it is.
And that's what happened to this young lady. And that's why that's why I know in my heart, that's why we fight. Because they treated her and her family like we forget sometimes, but I'll occasionally, when I say occasionally, usually once a week, we'll listen to Miss Martin's interview on that one radio show that she did. And listen to her.
She didn't trust any of them. She said none of them.
She was treated
my baby back
like garbage. She was treated like garbage, y'all. Like if you have a mother, and you love her, you should give a shit about this case, even if it's just that. Because can you imagine you're dead and you can't do nothing to protect your mom, and you've got all these scary men with a lot of money and hands in their pockets telling you, all sorts of scary stuff. We don't know the half of what she's been through.
No.
I can just about tell you because
none of it's good.
They go through your childhood. They try to make you look unstable on your jobs. They try to discredit you. They try to do all of these things when you're going to court. But God, like she be saying, but God, she got some attorneys up in there. She got a team of attorneys who got their own detectives. They send their own detectives out. They specialize in different areas. So they covering everything.
They'll even use her being on pain medication against her for having cancer. Right. These people are ruthless.
They ruthless.
And it's because of, like Letha said, the love of money. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't do something about this, this is going to happen to someone you love. This is going to happen to you, because when you condone things, whether it's through just not caring, not giving a shit, or doing it on purpose because you're benefiting, that karma will come back to you.
Where is AM at? Where is she? She's quiet. Did her phone go out?
I'm going to check the people because I was thinking about that too. No, she's here, babe.
Oh, okay. She's still here. All
AM.
Right. And Amp.
He left early. He got kicked out early.
I know he left early, but I'm going to have to get Amp back. I'm going to have to get the fellas on here.
Yeah.
And just let them go. And let them go. Do their thing.
Babe, are you here? Letha.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, good. Just checking.
Letha's here, but I don't hear AM. I don't hear her.
But I see her. I know she was in the chat.
I see her, but I don't hear her.
I'm going to read some of these comments real quick while we're waiting. It's Ange from the 717 said, that's why she kept Kanika's phone. And I would too. Yeah, I would too. I would have too until I got all the info out there that I needed, because she didn't trust them to take her phone, and I don't blame her. And I believe that, because a lot of people were giving Miss Martin shit for not giving the detectives her phone.
They should have got a warrant. Issue a warrant by law.
If they wanted it that bad.
And they didn't. So that just goes to show you.
I just have really just put myself in Miss Martin's place. And it's like this. And people give her a hard time because they say she's out for the money and not for who killed Kanika and this and that. But the thing about it is like this. Okay, if it's either you can fight what you see, but you can't fight what you don't know. And even you can't fight the games, just to be honest. You can't fight them. So if both are have a part in what happened to my daughter, if it was me, then I'm gonna do just like Miss Martin. I'm gonna get the hotel and the gang stuff. I can't fight them like that. I can't fight them like that. So I put them in the hand of God, like she did. God got her on that. So she's doing the right thing. I would do the same thing. I would do the same thing she's doing. I really would.
And people act like they don't understand. Let me explain what "but God" means. It means, but by the grace of God, there go I. But God keeping my mind and helping me stay sane. I'm gonna break down. I'm gonna be I'm going to have a mental breakdown and be in somebody's hospital. That's what she means when she's saying, but God. And some of these people talking about they go to church all the time should know that. Quit playing. Y'all know that. I've heard it before too.
Yes, ma'am. I don't think I'd be as strong as she is. She's a strong woman. I couldn't be as strong as she is. I'm telling you.
Y'all, I would have to be. And cry.
But we never know what she, yes. We don't know how she
over this case? I've cried over this case.
Yes.
I want to even ask the chat. Have y'all cried over this case? Like this
I have. I know I shed some tears.
Yeah, man. Like we gotta come together as people. Cynthia, if that happened to your grandkids, I'd fight for them like this. Letha, if that happened to your daughter, I would fight for you. And it's not because I want you to give me a shout out or say thank you to me. It's because I pray to God that y'all would do that for my mom.
And I would, because that's not right. We would do it because it's just not right.
That's right.
Y'all see how many people are saying yes? Like, come on, sleepless nights. Like, I don't want, and we're sitting here shedding tears. I don't want it to be in vain. I'm not going to give up. You know?
There's no statute of limitation on murder. There's no statute of limitation on murder.
Death. Not on death. Not on death. You can bring that back.
That's right.
So I appreciate everybody here. I appreciate your input. Like, this is needed, and bringing just awareness to her case, discussing what's going on. That helps her. Sitting here talking shit, sitting here making up fights, that does nothing for Kanika.
That's so crazy.
Well, I say it like this: let those people do what they do, and you just stay on the road to justice.
That's right.
You can't, Karen, you remind me that all the time, man. You are an inspiration.
When you in court, listen, when you have to go through court battles and stuff like that, you can't afford to get pulled. You can't afford to get pulled off track. You ain't have no time for that. No time.
And you
for
know
that.
what?
Not-
And the way I look at it too, it's a good thing because it's still keeping it in the media. It's still on people's minds
right.
and stuff like that. Even though some of the stuff be bullshit, but hey, it's still on their mind and it's out there. And so people like you, Miss Harris and Margaret, and the people in the chat and everybody that care, we just do what we know is right and let the circus be a circus.
Right. And there's nothing, our group will have giggles and we joke and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that. I want people to come together and really fight for this young lady because it's the right thing to do. And because the way that this country is going with the nepotism that's going on, even the way that Trump runs his office and stuff, that's real. And when you condone it and when you allow it, it continues. It's the same thing with racism, like here we are in 2018 and still having to fight that. That's because it was years of condoning it and learned behavior. So when you stop shit like this, it's important to the world. And we're only here for a short time.
We're all in this together. That's right. We're all in this world together.
Yeah, man.
There she is.
I just want to say, if people aren't going to help fight for justice for Kanika, for anybody, then they shouldn't get into anybody else's business, chats, starting stuff. Like, just let people do them. Let people do what they want to do. If everybody does their own thing, how they want to do it, and leave everybody else alone, there wouldn't be any of these beefs, YouTube beefs and all that. So, and definitely believe I'll practice what I preach as well. I've had to eat a piece of humble pie and apologize before. And that's another thing. Yep. If we make mistakes, it's not hard to say, I'm sorry. Right. It's not hard to tell somebody I made a mistake. I apologize. And then keep it moving.
What she just said was sweep around your own front door before you try to sweep around mine.
That's right.
In plain language.
My grandma, Miss Harris, my grandma used to say, clean up your own kitchen before you be trying to get in somebody else's kitchen.
Come on. Come on.
Man,
clean
but like
first.
And Mish, she's we feel real pain for Kanika. Yeah, I don't even know this young lady or her family, but
me either.
That what happened to her wrong. And
but I feel like I don't know them, but I do know them. I know their pain. I know her pain. I know she had a daughter and she's dead. I know.
It's called
compassion.
That. It's called compassion.
And this world needs
somebody else. You have empathy for somebody else. Compassion, empathy.
Yes.
For somebody else other than your own.
And y'all know a lot of people don't have that these days.
That's right, because I was taught this way. When you sow seeds, you may not reap them in your lifetime, seeds of goodness, but your kids, you got kids coming behind you that can reap from that.
That's right.
When you sow seeds of strife, division, confusion, and bitterness, guess what you gonna get? That's what you're gonna reap in your life.
That's right.
Sowing and reaping is real. Some people call it karma. I call it sowing and reaping. If you sow an apple seed, you get apples. You sow an orange seed, you get orange. You sow a lemon seed, you get lemons. You sow a negative, confusion, division, strife. That's what you get. You sow the wind and you get the whirlwind.
That's right. That's right.
I'm reading up on old notes that we were looking at during the autopsy. And some of the I know everybody looks at this autopsy and we're all just like, are you kidding me? Is this is really, because we waited. Y'all remember we waited.
Yes.
A minute for that. Because I was for sure that they were going to have her manner of death be at least undetermined. At the very best.
Does it say anything in there about her foot? What
yes.
does it say about her foot?
I can read it to you. I got it pulled up right now.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Because it's what's really sad. Here they go. It says where it goes tattoos, scars, and identifying marks. It mentions her tattoos. And then it says evidence of injury. A 1.5 and 1/4 inch red purple irregular abrasion is on the lateral right ankle, her lower ankle. A 1.5 by 1.5 inch ill-defined purple contusion bruise is on the post-lateral right leg. That's it. That's the only injuries they name. They don't mention her swelling of her foot. And they also don't explain where it came from, because Karen explained to me a long time ago that when you're doing this activism and you're becoming a part of this, you have to become a a medical examiner. You have to become a forensic pathologist. You have to learn
A
about all
lawyer,
this stuff.
yes.
Right.
So,
You
babe,
have to become a detective. You have to literally have your stuff researched to the T, so you literally can stand there and be like a pathologist, till you can stand there and be like a medical examiner, till you can stand there and be like an investigator, a detective. You have to have it together just that tight.
I read.
You see, it's now 8 months later, and we're still researching. We're still reading. We're still learning. That shows you right there. How serious some of us are, and also how much there is to learn. Nobody can learn everything there is to know about all this in a week or a month, or it takes some time. So,
and then why was her pants down? Why was her pants down?
That's what the attorney asked. That's why he said no. That's why they said no. They said absolutely not. Her bra was where her chest was showing, and her pants were done. They said no, you're not supposed to tell her she walked into here. They said no. They said we need the footage. They said we need that footage. We need all of it. They said no. You're not gonna.
And then they said with hypothermia, you get hot and you start taking your clothes off. Well, she didn't take her jacket off.
No,
and
let me tell you,
that's not even. And you know what? I researched that extensively. That's not even in all cases. That is sometimes. So that doesn't mean that's not an end all. That's not an end all be all for somebody having hypothermia. The what is it? They call it the hypothetical undressing or unparadoxical undressing. In front of me, but that's not even something that happens every case. So they can't even conclusively say, she had that. That's definitely why she was taking those clothes off. No.
I have to go back to Cook County Medical Examiner's Office, and because what was it in 2012 or it was in the 2000s, another young man was murdered by somebody who was supposed to be one of his best friends. And you know what? Cook County came in, they looked at the body was outside. And so they said, cause of death was hypothermia. Then later, they got some video footage, and guess what happened? His friend was on the video footage murdering him right there on the video footage. And they said, hypothermia was not the cause of death. That seems to me to be just a basic thing that they want to go with. You ain't did no real type of. You didn't get no examinations done. You're not really doing anything. You just hypothermia just because.
Then I was reading up on some stuff, and if her body was froze, they were saying that you would have to slowly defrost her body, and it takes days, and that the organs decay on the inside first, and all that. So I mean, it's just wide open. That
she wouldn't have had swelling of the brain if she had hypothermia.
Right,
your brain does not swell.
So this is what you're saying, Miss Hare. Her brain couldn't swell because, like, if we get a cut and we put ice on it, wholeness, and they keep it from swelling, so it wouldn't have never swelled. Yes, okay, I get it. I get that. Okay, I get it.
And keep in mind that some doctors, especially in the United Kingdom, they use hypothermia. And over here too, as a method to prevent the brain from swelling.
That's true.
Okay.
They use that.
I would like to know what you guys think about this, because I was reading a book by a really famous medical examiner. It's a really good book, but one of the things that they were discussing how there's not like some of the top 5 things that can go wrong in an autopsy, why you would get an incorrect manner of death. And one of the things was just simply not communicating with the toxology lab, because you do the autopsy first and the toxology takes a lot later. So you don't give the cause of death, the manner of death, until you conclude with them. And then even sometimes you have to retest and go back. And I actually wrote down.
That's what normal people, we talking about crooked folks over here.
Listen,
that's normally. That's normal shit. We talk, these motherfuckers over here ain't caring about none of that. They do what they want to do, how they want to do it. But normal people that wasn't crooked would do that. And I'm not being funny, but I'm just I'm just going along with you, and I'm just saying, but we're not talking about people that are normal. These people crazy and crooked and everything else over here, just devils.
Here's how important toxology is, though, and I learned this. I actually wrote these things down from the book. One of the things said is not communicating with the toxology lab, right? And they give an example. This is a real case. A young woman with schizophrenia goes nuts, and she attacks her roommate. She defends herself and shoots her. The gunshot wound is the manner of death, but a toxology form, and the forensic pathologist neglects to inform the toxologist about her prescribed meds. When the toxology comes negative, right? When it comes back for no megs, the pathologist writes a report that she wasn't taking her medication at the time of death. That's it. He never calls the lab to confirm, right? But weeks later, a reporter does. And when the lab runs tests for the actual psychotic that she was prescribed, it's positive. The pathologist winds up being sued. And the woman says, she goes, always remember that routine-based screens will not pick up all drugs. It pays to double check that the lab tested for any specific medications, especially in high-profile cases. I believe that she did, besides just having the topiramate and alcohol, I believe that she did have something slipped in her drink. And a lot of times...
it's in the report. It's in there.
Because of mixed medications, levels might not even show up, might not show up correctly. You know what I mean? They didn't care about this young lady from her being missing to her being in the freezer. To
let's just give them
for everything.
AM talked about that. Like she said, they didn't run the exam. They didn't run specific exams on her like they should have.
An X-ray.
Because if they thought she was at a party drunk, did they test her for marijuana? Okay, did they test her for any other thing? Because they did it for they found the other drug in her system, but then at the end of the report, it says that it had the date rape drug and G whatever it is in there. And if you're a police officer or anything, you think, okay, now even if it is an error or something, okay, we need to check this out because what is this? Why would she have this in her system?
Right.
And how come they didn't tell us her time of death?
That's right. They never had a time of death.
They did not take her body temperature. They did not take her body temperature. That
they still had an official time.
There's just a whole lot of information missing, and we still have lots of questions. That boils down to one big, huge question. How can they close a case when they don't have answers? How can they do this?
They didn't have all the stuff back on social media.
Right. I look at that as a big problem, a big red flag. You don't have all the information, but yet you were quick to close the case. So therefore, who do they have to answer to? Who should they have to answer to?
Dirty money is what they took.
That's a great point, Am. That's a great point.
Going back to what Miss Harris said, they don't make no money, no way. Not a lot of money. They take all these part-time jobs and stuff, and then they got kids and they got the big houses and stuff. Of course they taking dirty money. You know they
Yeah, they taking dirty money.
Facts.
They taking dirty money.
Facts. And I just even read here on the autopsy where it says topiramate was also identified in the peripheral blood at a concentration of 3,000 milligrams. Let me tell you, the highest
therapeutic levels, right?
Oh, beyond therapeutic, because that's what they tell the public. But I'm going to tell you, as someone who used that drug for funsies, same drug, gabapentin, basically, the highest milligram it comes in is 800, right? I used to take, when I first did it, I took 3 800 milligrams. And when I tell you, I was messed up for 24 to maybe, I stayed up that whole night and that whole day and then went to bed later on. I cleaned my house like I was on opiates. I half did paintings. I was so that
I know when they gave my mom the gabapentin, they made her gradually take. She had to start off on a low dose,
right,
and then she had to take a little bit more and a little bit more as time went by.
It's a great drug, but if you abuse it, it's just like taking a Roxycontin and Oxycontin. You can nod off on it. You're just as messed up. And right now, it's actually the drug is being put to a higher tier. Because people are starting to, go and search it on YouTube. I'd never done that before.
I didn't know topiramate was the same thing as it. Because like I said, my mom takes gabapentin for neuropathy. She has nerve pain in her stump from her losing that leg.
Yep. Oh, I'm so sorry about that, Aim. Your mom's such a strong woman. God bless her.
She
And
sure is.
and Pain
Thank
Truth
you.
brings up the Caddyshack again.
Here we
And
go.
somebody said they keep updating information. How can you legally
Yeah.
keep updating information on the website and the case is closed? How do you do that?
I think that's
Well,
a big reason why they try to cover up stuff was because of that restaurant being built.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
uh,
Bill Murphy too.
yeah, that need to be shut down.
You know they
That
have
need
a
to be-
caddy shack here where I live.
That need
It
to
was
be
one of the
shut down.
first ones.
Ah,
And
I'm not patronizing the Caddyshack.
Me
I'm not
either.
and,
Either.
and the places I only went there one time, and I think it was when I was like 13.
You can't
But
get my money.
where it's
Nobody
at,
who's linked up with the Marriott, because
that's where it's
Crowne
at.
Plaza,
That's where it's at, babe.
what chain of hotels are they hooked up with? They can't get my money. I'm gonna make sure I don't stay.
Is it Marriott a
in
part of
there.
them too?
Yes,
I'm gonna make
because
sure
they're at the
whoever it is.
Marriott here where I'm at.
Well,
Wow,
I'm
I
I'm
glad
not
you told me.
patronizing you. I'm
That's
not
what we have.
patronizing you.
That's one of the nicer ones that we have around here. I'm sure glad you told me.
Yeah,
I
because they have
read
the
that,
PGA
Benita.
Tour
Thank you,
here.
Benita. I read Benita's comment. Tell my mom to try Lyrica. Thank you. I will tell her.
Lyrica is really good too. It's a lot stronger because my mom has Parkinson's, so she can't take them both at the same time, but she alternates them. And it is actually a really, really good drug to talk about. And it's good because a lot of times, like we say with tolerance, especially if you've got something like your mom has where it's long term, your tolerance goes up over time, where you eventually have to take more and then lower yourself down and change the medication.
Low key type says somebody from a higher up ordered this case to be so confused. You already know who it is. They came out trying to spin a story.
That's
Yeah.
right.
How much
came
did they
out
pay
with the
Andrew
spin.
Holmes?
They sent they talking head. I'm not even okay. He just lied.
Karen, can I
You talking about
interrupt?
Andrew?
Karen?
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I can say it. I can say it. Hey, Andrew, I can say it. Karen. Andrew Holmes.
Tasha was saying she never understood why they would show the world those awful freezer pics and of course say the case is closed. But I do have a question about that as well, Karen. Maybe you can answer it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me? I have never seen in the history of all the years I've been alive any case have these death pictures released and all that. Have you ever seen this happen before?
Yes.
Ned Monet, you got to go through all these cases. Casey Anthony, all of them have. But this is what they did. Miss Martin's attorneys, Miss Martin said they wanted to come out and make it look like Kanika was just so inebriated and drunk she staggered into the freezer. So they wanted to do that. She said, "Okay, y'all trying to release what you want to release." She said, "If you're gonna do that, why not release all of them? Release all of them."
Oh,
okay.
What
Good.
they did,
That was good.
Chicago Tribune sued for the FOIA.
No,
they had the money.
They didn't sue. They didn't sue. What they did was they said, "Listen, this is freedom of information." Rosemont did not want to release. Chicago was like, "Hold up." So they did their Freedom of Information Request Act and they pressed their butts. By law, you have got to release. Rosemont have a big issue when it comes to freedom of information. They think they are above the law. That's what the Attorney General had to get them on before. They just think that you can disclose information just because. No, you can't. This is a federal law.
Say that.
Freedom of information. This is an amendment. This is in the amendment. This is a constitutional right
from corruption.
I did not know that.
See, and I don't think a lot of people did. I didn't realize. I thought Chicago Tribune for the info. So, like, this is a great purpose for this chat because we can discuss, talk, and clear up stuff, because there's so much to learn and cover. And we all have so much to contribute.
Somebody else popped in here, and would you ladies like to address this?
Had people just Kanika, rest in peace, the death images would not be on the internet forever. Well, Gray, I feel like for somebody who takes PayPal donations for cases about children and men and women and stuff, and you make money off of that, and it's your free time and your funsy thing, you really don't have a leg to stand on. You understand? Because of that, you get PayPal donations, you get subscribers. And we know you, you know what I mean? And I also saw you make a joke in another chat about Tapir Mate. So I don't even want to hear it. Why are you here? You spread disinformation and that it's an accident. We all know it's not. I don't know why you think that's cute, why you think it's funny, why you think it's appropriate to fight for the big guy, why you think it's appropriate to call women sociopaths because they don't agree with you. A lot of things, you know, but what I really would suggest is maybe you just, I'm a clown. Well, you're precious.
And people are saying, please, Gray, don't let Gray be disrespectful.
Exactly. You have to ignore stuff like that.
Hold on.
Well, good night, Gray. You have a good night. Thank you.
Just ignore him because I'm like this. If you're gonna come in here, post anything that I feel is too overboard, then I get the attorney involved. Don't play on.
Gray, I just feel like you're kind of a sick individual for making
and
money.
See, Margaret,
hold on. Let's go there because I believe in the law. Do not play in this chat. Let them post what they're gonna post, and I'll run it to an attorney.
She is very
Margaret,
right.
Don't argue with him. Don't argue with him, Margaret. You just have to ignore it.
I want people in the chat. I want people in the chat to be aware of that. No, I want them to incriminate themselves. Let them incriminate themselves inside this chat.
That's right. And Mark, you have to ignore them. They sit there and they come there for a reason. We peaceful. They want to stir up shit. Just ignore them.
Well, yeah, but you're so right. My thing is, let her rest in peace.
Inside this chat. Incriminate yourself inside this chat. Go ahead and do it.
We're fighting for this young lady. We're not exploiting her. We're not making money. Any video we put out, we don't have our PayPal connected to it. We're fighting.
Then on top of that, he jumping the fence on other pages. He J for K, and then you're over here doing this other shit. So what are you doing? He got his nut splits. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. But don't get mad at us because they split. You got splinters in them. Don't get mad at us, boo.
Okay.
Oh, Lisa, I love you, baby.
We have addressed him. Let's get to the topic. That's it.
Okay.
We're done. We're done. Because you don't get to come over
that's
here.
That's what I pride myself in.
You don't get to come over here and pull us off. You don't get to come over here and pull us off.
Yeah, no. Because no PayPal over here. You know, we're just fighting for justice. So continuing that, I really feel like the autopsy report was a mess. It was a sham. And therefore, it's great that these things are public. Prince's death had a FOIA. And the purpose of that is to fight against corruption. Okay. It's to bring the public into awareness. We have congressional hearings. That's because us as the public who pays these people, who depends on their services, who pay their bills, right? We have a right to that knowledge.
Wait a minute, we do. We have a right to that information. But see, Greg, hold on. See, and I'm gonna go back here because you said you people. Wait. Let me deal with this.
You got it.
You people, that's racist. If you didn't know that, you know it today. That's racism. You people. Who are you? Are you a fascist? Because that's what I think you are. A fascist.
Gray, I'm just going to ask you.
Hold on. Which means you don't like people. Which means you don't like people at all. You people. See, that's very racist.
He uses it all the time, Karen.
Hold on, and I said fascist because that's what I believe you are. By everything that you do, a fascist.
This is what Gray does. Gray comes in the room and does it.
Hold on, because we're not supposed to keep saying this to Gray. He came on this channel, so now here we go. You people. No, that's racist. That's racist. And if you didn't know before today, you know now. That's racist.
And it's small-minded. It's small-minded.
Hold on. And everything that you do have hints of fascism in it.
Facts.
That's fascist. Fascism. Spin and deflect. Go spin and deflect on someone else's channel. You don't get to spin and deflect here. Rosemont didn't do their job. The child was murdered. How about that? How about that?
We have a right to have our opinion.
Go run and tell them that. Go run and tell that. That's it. Bottom line. We gonna get
Gray does, and I'm not gonna bring.
And we gonna keep fighting. Hold on. We gonna keep fighting until we do. You don't run me. I don't run. And when
Karen, I'm telling you right now, like this is what he does. He goes into chat rooms. He's a narcissist. He knows what he's doing. And he does this because narcs, they don't care whether it's positive attention or negative. They just enjoy it because it's about them. That's all it's about. Gray walked in here. He knew he was going to say some fucked up dumb shit and that people were going to pay attention to it. And that's his sole purpose, because that man sits at home on the computer all day, digging, online, making money and PayPals off of people's tragedy. What the fuck do you need a PayPal for, Gray? You have a job? We actually care about this shit and are doing it for free. We've never been disrespectful. We don't have fucked up panels. We don't call people sociopaths and fucked up words. We're very respectful. And you come here and you just want attention. And you want attention off of a dead girl. So what in the motherfuck does that say about you?
And end of story, Margaret. Leave him alone. We can keep on talking J for K.
Yeah. J for
Got
K.
that.
End of story. J for K.
Thank you.
Gina Kid is here. She has Justice for Kanika up in the chat. She's one of the ones that has been protesting for her since the beginning.
Oh, hey,
shout
Gina.
out to Gina.
Thank you, Letha. I really appreciate. Thank y'all, very much. But this shit, I really care about this young lady. I care about what happened to her. I want Miss Martin to live a full life and to be a happy person from her loss. Nobody here is going to ever spread this information.
She's never going to be happy. She's never going to be happy. She's just going to be able to accept. She's going to accept it in time. She'll never. I would never be happy. I would be able to accept it, but I would never be happy. She'll never be happy. She would. You could tell in all the videos and stuff. Her and Kanika were real close, as if she was with all her kids. But her and Kanika had a special. I like the video when she was sitting on the bed eating.
Yes, and, the Chinese food.
That's my favorite. Yes, she said, "You don't never come in here unless Kanika never come in here unless I got something to eat." That was so funny. That's my favorite video right there.
Were you really close to your mom and stuff like that? I'm a mama's girl.
Yes, I am too. Yeah, we have Sunday dinners with mom every Sunday. Mother's Day is off the chain. We just love her. That's our backbone.
Yeah.
Gina Kid said, "Hey," she's saying, "Hey, my J4K family, keep up the good work. Come out or tune in to J4K Day 2018 tomorrow in front of the Crowne Plaza. Shut Rosemont down. We are.
Is she gonna stream that? Is she gonna? Can you? I'm sorry for interrupting.
Gina, will you be streaming live? Make sure I'm sure somebody will be going live. Gina, make sure your people do a live stream. Make sure you y'all do some live streaming so we can view some footage.
Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Gina, for doing that. I wish I could be there. I really do, but I'll be there in September. And I would I would love to meet everybody and I'm just very humbled by this. I'm so humbled because even with all the bad stuff, this conversation makes me on fire. It makes me want to research more and help, because I know that there's good people out there,
I'm sorry to hear that. And from the 717, you lost your mother, and condolences to you.
And God bless you, babe. I'm real close to my mom too, so I can't imagine what you're going through.
I couldn't imagine it. I couldn't.
But I'm glad you're here.
I am too, Miss Kidd. I'm glad too. And people are in the chat saying, "I understand to block him, but no, like I said, I like for people to incriminate themselves because you keep it going and then it goes into a form of harassment." No,
and
what you have to do, you can address them maybe one time. You have to ignore them because they want to get us off our groove after our vibe.
It's so hard sometimes, but you're so right.
Miss Kidd, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're gonna have to get you on a panel.
Yes,
a round table discussion is what I call them. Yes. Get you up here. Yes.
Because Gina really was the first one. I noticed her on Facebook. I just always noticed, that she was always doing something for Miss Martin. She was just determined, And I actually sent her a friend request and she accepted it. And I thought, okay, this lady's for real right here. She's for real.
Can I say too, I feel horrible that when we were, I used to be on the channel Kate 420 a lot in the very beginning. And I remember a lot of people put Gina through a lot of crap trying to say she was at the Rosemont, she was at the Crowne Plaza, and I felt horrible. And I knew my gut, and of course my gut always is right. My gut told me, no, she was not. And that's just a lie that people are just trying to spin another narrative. And so I felt horrible for her because it was messing with her life. So
And
she
see, I
stuck
never
with
knew
it.
that. I
With
never
it.
knew that.
Oh
See,
yeah,
me
she went.
either, because I didn't get off into all of the um I didn't get off into too much. I would watch different channels and post a comment if I thought, they was on and be like, "Ooh," but I didn't get off into that. I do a lot of reading and stuff.
I want to say this real quick, ladies, and we noticed this the first live we did on Painting Truth's channel is we didn't have any chat mods, and we didn't need any because everybody
and
there
I'm
was
not going to have any.
respectful.
I'm not going to have any.
Right.
I'm not
We're
going
not
to
on
have
that
any.
tip. It's not a
I'm not going
power
to have
trip.
any.
Everybody's equal. Everybody's opinion is valuable and respected. And and it's no disrespect because some channels, I see that really do need mods or whatever. And it's nothing like that. But over here, Karen said it best. This is a round table. We're all humans discussing something and trying to bring awareness to this young lady's case. And that really is from the bottom of my heart, my intentions. And I can tell you this right now, everybody here on this panel, everybody that you're going to hear on this panel is going to come in and talk. That's going to be their same story. We only have good intentions for this young lady. We're not here to disrespect anybody. We're not here to be dismissive to anybody. In fact, experiences that's happened in your life could be valuable to this case. So I want to say thank you to everybody for behaving and for being kind and just really caring
Is it
about
12?
this
Hey
young
y'all,
lady.
is it 12 o'clock anywhere in anybody time zone in the chat or
My
anywhere?
ours is 12:21 on
Well, let's say
Eastern.
it's Kanika's birthday today, y'all.
Oh,
Oh,
happy
Today is Saturday. It's her
Nika.
birthday. Yes,
Miss
it
Martin,
is.
we just sending her shouts out to
Yeah,
your
shout out to
girl
Miss
that was
Martin.
born on
Yes.
this day.
Do you
Happy
guys want to
born
just
day to
say
her.
like a
Hey,
prayer or whatever
Benita.
just for her?
Yes.
Do you guys want to do that?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll start it, and then Letha, want to come in, and we'll all just come in and say something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I just want to start out, God. Thank you so much for your grace, your humility, and for the work that you've done to help us bring awareness and love and justice to this young lady. I want to pray for Miss Martin, for her strength today, for her family, for her heart, that she can just feel the love and support and know that there are people all around the world who really do care about you and really did love your daughter without even knowing, because we love ourselves and we have love. And so I want to thank you, God, so much, and just pray that you are with Miss Martin and her family. And I know that you have Kanika and her beautiful soul. And we just want to say thank you, God, for giving us this angel so that we could all connect and do the right thing for this young lady and for this family.
And
Amen.
dear Jehovah God, I would like to thank you for allowing the whole world to come together in peace, and to continue to have peace. It's a bigger battle than what we're fighting. It's good against evil, and we're here, and everybody in the chat, we're trying to do the good. And with your help and with you behind us, we will do good, and we will be protected, and everything will come to light. And these things that we pray and thank you.
And I say no weapon formed against this family will prosper. Weapons get to form, but they don't get to prosper. That you give those attorneys wisdom like never before, that you breathe a fresh wind into this family cells, and having done all to stand, that they will stand with their feet flat-footed and begin to resist the enemy.
Thank you, God.
Continue to bless us, give us strength, give us health to keep fighting for the justice for not only Kanika, Lord, but for all people that need justice, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, God. Oh, you know what? I think that's the first prayer I've heard live on YouTube. Have me crying, like just tears of like humility, like I'm just so thankful that there's people out in this world that exist and that have that love in their heart for someone they didn't even know, because that's how you're supposed to love your brothers and sisters, And it's so nice to be reminded that, because the world can be real cold. It can be mean,
It sure can.
I'm just so thankful for you ladies and for you men. I really, really am. Thank y'all so much.
And we appreciate you guys. We appreciate the knowledge and the strongness that you have brought to the world and to YouTube, to help us and show us how to make changes and also how we can change within ourselves and help our children and stuff. We appreciate you guys.
I appreciate everybody, and what the thing about me is, if you're going to be reasonable, I would like to hear some more people voice this. It's not, to me, it's not about, it's a round table discussion. It's not just about one person having all the answers, because one person don't have all the answers. One person can see something that the other person does. To me, it's about being a complete body. Can the eye tell? Can the eye tell the foot? You're not necessary to the body. Can the hand or the ankle tell the knee you're not necessary for the body? No, we need the whole body to work together.
That's right.
And great thing I love about Karen too is that she always told me from the beginning, because sometimes I would be like dismissive about myself and just be like, I just color for a living, like, what can I do? And she said to me, she was like, no, you're great. We can use your talents. You see the smaller details in things. You pay attention to things. Like, she's the type of person that really is humble enough to
uplifting.
Yeah, man. And it's so nice to have women and men be like that. I think it's impressive that we don't need chat mods. I think it's impressive that we can talk for 2.5 hours and the time flies by, and not a single argument. Nobody's feelings got hurt. Like, this is God working through us, and no one's going to tell me not to do this. No one's going to sit here and put me down and say, don't fight for the little guy. I'm not listening, and so
they may put you down. They may put you down, but you're just not going to accept it. You're not going. You just keep it moving.
That's so right. I'm so glad to meet you, Letha. I really am.
Glad to meet you guys.
I am too, Miss Letha. Really, low key, I see you. Low key, I see you in the chat saying wrenches are needed. But you know what? See, I'm not supposed to get on here and perpetrate like I'm a believer, but I will go into the spirit realm and start taking authority over them spirits live if I have to. And they don't want me to go there. They really don't. You don't want me to go there. You don't want me to go there. You don't want me to go there. No.
I want to tell everybody, if you have any talent, anything to contribute, anything that you see or find, a thought, whatever, please email any of us. And what you have to say is really important. Leave a comment in the video. Pain and Karen, everybody, they're really good at responding, and everybody's opinion is valuable, as long as you're respectful. And
right. What we don't do over here is condescending. We're not going to let people bring their condescending, cynical. We're not going to let people bring their condescending, cynical, smug attitudes here. And you're not going to sit up and continuously mock this child's death.
No, that's unacceptable.
That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable.
That's right.
Period. Under no uncertain terms, at any time, for any reason.
I'm going to say this, and I say it every time. I think we've got something special. I think that we can really get this young lady's case opened, and that's going to bring a lot of hope. I also thought about this too. That's going to bring a lot of hope to other families. It might spark a fire in them when they know something wrong happened to their loved one, that they can see like, oh, this all started on YouTube. A group of people got together, like it will inspire people to do the right thing, like, because there's a lot of Kanikas out there.
Gina Kidd said something, which is, she said, if you cannot let Kanika, we cannot let Kanika or this movement go, because God gave it to you on purpose. It's a purpose.
That's right.
It's a purpose.
It really is. It really is.
United we stand, divided we fall.
That's right. And the thing about it, when we fall, it'll be 3 or 4, 10,000 behind us that'll stand up. And when they fall, it's gonna keep going and going and going, and it's gonna be some more to stand up and take our place.
Can you imagine the other people that got snowballed and stuff that happened in Rosemont that we don't even know about? Because they really wanted to hide Kanika's case. They did.
She was supposed to be a missing person. I
They
really believe
did.
she was supposed to be a missing person. I really do.
Mhm.
I think she's
you
supposed to
for
be a
saying
missing
that.
person.
Mhm.
But Mama T messed that up.
She
Mama
put
T
him on
stayed
blast.
there. She
Put him
put
on
him on
blast.
blast. She did. She did. She really did. She
I
did.
think that I really think there was a lot of racism involved in that. I think they
Mhm.
expected her to,
Only after the racism came after. Now you got to remember, before they were nice to the kids. They told them how to
Mhm.
smoke marijuana, how to do this and that. The racism came after they had already did what they were going to
when they
do,
became a
and they were through.
problem for them, when they
Yes.
became a
Yes.
problem.
When they started protesting, exercising
Yeah.
their constitutional right, then they had
Yes.
an issue.
No, it went no way before that. Even the kids said after they told them they could smoke marijuana, how to take the
Mhm.
smoke detector. They then after Kanika came up missing when they changed on them.
Oh
That's when
wow.
they
Mhm.
started
Okay.
acting funny.
Let me tell
Okay.
you, I've traveled a lot. Like one of the things that got me onto this case is because of tattooing and stuff. We usually hold tattoo conventions in hotels because they can carry the space. We have like over 500 booths. So a big part of my job is traveling and going to conventions. And so of course we'd stay at hotels, and they were nice hotels, like really nice hotels or whatever. I've smoked weed in hotels. I smoke cigarettes. I shouldn't, but I do. I've
Exactly. Keep it
never,
real.
I've, I've never had any hotel employee say, "Oh yeah, you can smoke weed in here. Just
Mm-mm.
do this."
Right.
You
Never.
be
In
scared
fact,
to smoke it. I got in the
that's what I'm
shower and
saying.
did
I
mine.
run the
You be
water in the
scared.
yes, Lisa,
Yes, yes,
yes.
Margaret. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
I don't want that $200 fine. They'll call the cops on you and
No.
bring the
Yes,
cops to your
ma'am.
room.
They
And
sure
let
will.
alone children. These were children also. So
Yeah.
Underage. And some
that,
were underage.
I'd never
yes.
seen anything like that before. Never in my life. At first, I was like, "Where they do that at?"
I
I've
made
traveled.
sure I explained
Rosemont.
to my
They do it
son,
Rosemont.
my son's going to be 15, so I made sure I explained this case to him, and I
Mhm.
said that's exactly why you won't go to a hotel and party, because you just never know what can
Yes.
happen.
But see,
So
babe,
I just
that's
and
another
not
thing.
just
That's
a
what
hotel, not
well,
just a
you're right.
hotel,
That's what
parties in
touched
general.
me. That's what touched me because my daughter was going to. My daughter is 21. She just moved out. She was going to kickbacks when she was. That's what they call them, kickbacks.
Hmm.
I said, "What are you doing this weekend?" I'm going to a kickback. Well, I never knew what a kickback was, and then until Kanika thing come out, and then now, and then she watched it with me, and then she come tell me like, one time they were there and some dudes had a gun. I'm like, oh no, no, no. So kickbacks been
Mhm.
going on forever. I mean, it's just we as parents just have to be aware of the language that the kids
Right.
talk, kickbacks and stuff like that. I didn't know what a kickback was. Hell, I was telling her she could go. So that's why I feel for Mama T. It's nothing that she could have did or anything to keep
Oh,
anything from
low
happening to
key,
her
what?
daughter.
Let me see something. Low key, what were you saying?
Oh, he
I'm
meant
trying
about
to.
the chat mods. He meant about the chat mods
Oh no,
when he
no,
mentioned
no,
that.
no, no, low key. I just don't believe. And some people use them, and I know you were trying to be helpful, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But my thing is this: uh, I'm gonna run everything to an attorney, and if you get to the point where you're crossing the line and it becomes harassment, I'll see you in court. I will see you in court.
And I
And
don't
she
think
That's
he
don't
my
wants
play.
attention
perspective.
Real.
that bad.
Not just
I
saying
will see
that.
you. No, 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 no. Because see, what I'm not gonna do is I like to nip stuff in the bud, and the way you nip it in the bud is you start taking people to court, and then they leave you alone
That's right.
because they know
Y'all
you're
have not realized this about my friend. She don't
not. I
play.
appreciate it.
Right.
I do appreciate it. I understand exactly what you said, Loki. I understand exactly what you said, but
And if we
my
ever
thing
did
is
have to
this:
get mods,
let
you'd be
them,
one.
let them incriminate themselves in the comment section. That's how criminals and the people who doing devious stuff get caught. Always on social
Yeah.
media.
Mhm. No, I think what we covered tonight is just another chapter in giving attention and exposure to this young lady's case and how she was dismissed and treated as if her life didn't matter. And what we do is remind people that her life did matter, that your
Yeah.
life matters,
Mhm.
and this is something to care about, that I would fight for you. I would fight for your children. This case touched me in a part of my life where I had prayed to God almost a year before that to humble me. I mean, I got on my knees crying, and sometimes I regret this prayer
Yes,
because
Yes, Evelyn. Evelyn is saying her birthday is May the 27th. That's why we did our prayer and did our happy birthday, Kanika, Miss Evelyn, in the comment section. Actually, actually the 27th, right? And because it's midnight where I am Eastern Standard Time, and then in the United Kingdom, they are already into the next day. We went ahead and did our birthday accolades and acknowledgments to J4K.
And I just
and she had a whole Kanika had a whole life ahead of her. I mean, she had got a new job. She was vibrant. She was fun. And it just wasn't right that her life was taken from her.
Okay,
like that.
Who is this person? So enjoy your evening based on hypocrisy here. I'm out of this place. Prayer slander together is not my cup of tea. I speak. Wait. Hold on. I speak a spirit of peace. I think speak peace to the confused mind. And I speak peace to the confused minds in Jesus' name. And I speak the blood of Jesus to the confused minds in Jesus' name. How about that?
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Karen. Great way to handle that. And it's no disrespect. Like when I say it's all love, even if you come for me, I want you guys to realize that I'm here humbly. This isn't about me. You don't have to like me. You don't have to agree with me or whatever. I ask that you respect me, but it's only because I really am going to respect you. I'll give you the energy that you give me, but at a certain point, you don't get that anymore. And then we just continue on, like Letha said, and that's just what we're going to do. So for me, this isn't about me. And I always remind myself, like I said, when I pray to God to humble me, it's crazy because these thoughts will come in my head. And I used to not be that type of person where I would just be like, selfish in a way that wasn't like what people would think selfish, but I wouldn't behave like this. And so I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the conversation. These things are important. They're important in life. And this really is what life's about.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
When you have peace on you, and I'm going to talk about that too.
Please
You're not afraid. You're not afraid. You're not afraid. See, a wicked person will flee when no one is pursuing them. Ain't no evil over up in here.
No,
we don't have.
Right.
We don't
because I can tell you one thing about Karen. I can tell you, Karen doesn't care what's going on other channels. No. She is always respectful.
Yep.
And she always makes sure she'll tell us and encourage us to be respectful and to not let the small stuff bother us as well. So when we're over and we see negative stuff happening in other chats and we're not going off and getting blocked, it's a lot of times because we were encouraged to do the right thing. So thank you for that, Karen.
Thank you, Karen.
Right. Just let them stay on here and then run it to attorneys. For the hard-headed. Take that stuff to court.
Right. CEO, exactly. You're 57 years old and don't have time for the foolishness. And that's the thing. I feel the same way. I'm like, we all have families, jobs, things that we're doing. So we're passionate about this and we want to share that with people. But we're also not here to fight a war with other YouTubers about this either.
And the reason I don't have a problem, see, people have to understand, my mother used to take people to court every day and sue them. So I don't have a problem with the court system. I really don't. Just go ahead and write whatever you're going to write and put wherever you're going to put. But today I did put the blood of Jesus on it to the confused minds. Yeah. To the confused minds. We operate from a spirit of peace over here. And I'm going to call a fascist out to his face every time.
Yeah, but nobody came up here talking about that. That's an energy that you put out there. So it that says something about you. And I don't regret what I said because it's the truth, and I stand behind it. But what I'm not going to do is continue the conversation. Like if I were talking to you, I'd be looking at you, but my feet would be pointing to the door, if you feel what I'm saying. So
okay, Pain Truth is saying it's the 26th in the UK today. It's not the 27th because I said it was the 27th. Because over here, like I said, in our time, it is it's past midnight.
But it's Saturday, so it is the 26th. Sorry, we got the date wrong, guys.
It's okay. It's all right.
So they're still in the United Kingdom. The day there is because they're hours ahead of us.
Yeah,
that day in the United Kingdom is still the 26th.
Oh,
okay. For them, it's still the 26th.
It's the 26th here too.
And we need to shout out Painted Truth too, because like I said, she came from another country.
Yeah.
And, she's been doing marvelous. I have always liked her stuff
has.
from day one. And she's been on it for a while. I followed her for a while too. And she's doing a great job. A great job, Painted Truth.
Shout out to 54 Keys too. I love her channel. What she did. I'm on your ass 2018. I'm with this shit.
Yeah, I like the way she talks too. And she Bree, I'm on your ass.
You know, I even appreciate
shout out. Wait, I have to shout out Carlton Warner Entertainment too, because I have to shout him out.
The real Columbo.
Yes. Yes.
Shout out Anthony. And I'll also shout out Straight Drop for showing Karen's video today. And it is really important that we understand what she's talking about when it comes to, because she really is the only person here that's actually experienced in this field when it comes to computer forensics, when it comes to surveillance, when it comes to data. I've never testified about that in court and never will, but she has. So that for me is something really important. And so when we bring attention to the facts, when we speak about the facts of this case, not even just speculation, you can't argue.
T-Night stopped by to show us love. Thank you.
Shout out T-Night.
All right, T-Night, you're going to have to get up here on this pad. Where is he?
He's down in the chat.
Hey, T-Night, what's up? We're going to have to get you on a panel with the gentlemen, bro. We're going to have to get you up here with the guys.
Is this still judgment season?
It sure is. It's judgment season. I seen his zombies video. And he said it's judgment season.
His voice is coming back. Plenty much love, T-Night.
Yeah. If I'm forgetting everybody, I'm sorry. It's late, and
everybody, plenty much love, everybody. And like I said, for me, I'm not I believe everybody has a voice, but here I don't want to hear the cynicism pertaining to this case. I just want to keep it about justice. Like I said, I've spoken with the FBI. We're writing attorney generals. We're going through senators. So we have to make sure that we don't have time for foolishness. We don't have time to get caught up in shenanigans and all of that type stuff right there. We need to be about that business, the business of justice.
And that's important to have somebody to remind you that and to inspire you. Because like how Karen and I, we've all talked about this. Like I like to surround myself around people who inspire me, people that are better at certain things than I am, so I can learn. I don't want to be the best tattooer in a shop. I'm never going to learn that way. I want to work with people who are better.
T-Night say it's always judgment season. T-Night, everybody who profited off this child's death, that money is going to run from their household like water.
Yeah, it don't do you no good. That kind of money don't do you no good.
Running water. Like running water. Like running water.
They got new gold teeth and chain. No, I'm not going to do that. Stop. Stop.
God said he will not be mocked. You don't get to mock people like that.
No,
you don't get to make a mockery out of nobody's death. That No. God said he's a God of justice.
That's right.
And he's also a God of vengeance.
Do the right thing. It's as simple as that. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. At the end of the day, and look how special this is that these women from all around the world care about a young lady, have connected, have bonded. And
through Mama T, coming live on Facebook asking for help.
Because if it was left up to Rosemont in Chicago, we would never know or care. So let's thank you. Say that again, Letha. It's through Mama T.
Through Mama T.
And that's the one thing I will not tolerate is disrespect.
Protect your future young. Protect your future young. That's right. We got generations coming behind us. We can't afford to be hit and missing. We stood on the shoulders.
And we got to set an example for them. If we sit around and keep letting all this unjust happen and our kids watching us and stuff, then it's just going the pattern's just going to keep going on and on and on.
Right. I want to keep it peaceful and respectful and be very humble when we discuss this case, I think that's important. And so I'm very thankful. I'm thankful for everybody came here to listen. Normally we do this on Saturday nights, but I'm really sitting here. Y'all made me cry early. Y'all gonna know that about me. I'm a crier. Now that I'm in tune with my feelings and stuff and let go of my pain, I'm not scared to show emotions now. It actually feels good. So I just want everybody. Yeah, Evelyn, you're right. It's our duty. It's just right. No one had to force me to care about this case. No one had this wasn't homework for me, It was a pleasure. And
if you pay attention to the video, the footage that they got out, it's got some facts and some fiction in there. Some facts and some fiction.
Right.
Because all those, it's some facts in there, but it's some fictions too. But they think they smart. They really think they smart. They really did. They thought they got away with it. That's what it was.
And Paint Truth, she went back to the objective. The objective is justice, and we have a purpose here.
That's right.
If you aim for nothing, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah,
you're aiming for something.
That's right.
Power of positive thinking.
And I also I want to say this about our group. Last weekend, we had technical problems and 2 people couldn't even get on. And Alicia AM, she couldn't get on, but she stayed in the chat and hung through the entire time. It was late as hell. Painting Truth tonight, it's UK time, so it's probably almost 6:00 there. She couldn't get on because the power went out in her neighborhood. She's still here in this chat hanging on. No one's paying her. No one's forcing her. She's not hoping someone drops a PayPal in her account. She's here because she wants to, because it's the right thing to do. It's late as hell where Letha and all where we're at. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's the right thing to do, and I feel good about it.
Me too.
I'm gonna go to bed with love in my heart.
I have it gives me a purpose. It gives me a purpose. It seemed like when this happened to Kanika, it stirs something up in me that gives me a purpose. I want to do something. It's a hunger in me.
It's like a righteous indignation rose up on the inside of you and was like, wait a minute.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Yes. What the fuck? That's what I was saying. Yes, and the more I looked at it, the more accident. What the hell? Just sad. Sad.
No, I mean, I feel that in my soul when you say that. I really do.
Yes. Actually, people, to be honest with you guys, people in my family said, Letha, you crazy. Say it's a psyop. I ain't no damn psyop. Well, you keep on believing that shit then. I'm not.
Tell them.
And they do. They Letha on that Kanika. Yes, ma'am, I am. I'm on this Kanika stuff. Yes, ma'am.
I know.
No, I don't do psyops over here. I believe in science and
that's
things
right.
that can be proven.
Let me say this. If this was a psyop, number one, there wouldn't be a lawsuit. That doesn't happen. Courts don't do things. So that's your number one key that this is not. 2, Karen would never be involved in this case, right? Someone who testified, someone who depends financially on things like this would never risk her name and come out here and speak about this and do this to people. These are my friends. I love these young ladies. They're not here for the wrong reasons. No. I'm not lying to you. And we suggest y'all to research yourself, to go out and find information. It will help. No one's sitting here and telling you what to think.
And don't forget, I want everybody to go and find that on YouTube when Irene was recorded live and she didn't know it. That's what y'all need to listen to.
Okay.
Letha, I'm gonna get your hangouts and I'm gonna search for that shit before I go to bed. I swear to God.
All right. Yes.
I'm gonna do it.
I'm telling you need to get it.
Because we need to get.
I'm searching for it. I ain't gonna say I'm searching for it before I go to bed because I have to be on the road tomorrow.
Yes, listen
I'm
to
not gonna be telling no story. She will, but
I will.
I'm gonna let her send it to me. I'm gonna let her send it to me.
Margaret can send it to me too.
No, y'all know how I roll.
Yeah,
we move together.
That's right.
Yeah, but
I'm so thankful
I really
for you,
appreciate it. I really appreciated Amp coming on. He's a very solid guy, and I guess he was like all them women up there.
All them women, I know.
Let's get there.
No, we need you, brother.
We
Well, we
do.
have to get some. We're gonna have to get some guys on here because men also can pick up on things a little bit differently too.
Yeah, they
So
do.
we're gonna have to get Amp T
They
Night,
have
some
to
more
have
Carlton on
tonight.
here.
Yep.
We're gonna have to get Zillionaire on here. We're gonna have
Yes,
to
I
get
like him.
we're
Yeah,
gonna have
Carlton.
to get we're gonna have to get some people. We're gonna have to get some guys on here and let them just do their round table and chop it up. And we just sit in the back and ask questions.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'm down.
Yes.
And then there's some guys that's in the chat, like low key, he could be on here too. There's some people that's really been 100 and all about this J for K. And no sugarcoating, no slipping and sliding, anything like that. Yeah,
I like what Alan said. He goes, being woke is not cool. You have to dumb yourself down to others because they think you're crazy. Another thing, being woke is exhausting sometimes. Like when you know the truth, like that, it gets overwhelming a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, so you're totally right, man. It's definitely something.
Sometimes it's a fight.
They crazy. It is, because I was thinking about something else. I don't mean to get off the subject, but I just want to bring it out right fast. When she got off the elevator, she was on the lobby. Where's the footage? She was at the lobby. It was right there. Where's that footage at?
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
And when the kids, Mama T said the kids called her and said they left her in the lobby. I believe that, because that footage she coming out, she's in the lobby. Where's that footage at from there? That when she's in the lobby. She's right there. The lobby is right there.
So a lot of footage missing. A lot of footage.
Carlton went in on them cameras. He went in on them cameras.
Yes,
on
he did.
Channel.
Yes, he did.
Carlton went in on them cameras.
Yes, he did.
He went all the way there. He went up and down that wall. He went up and down that wall.
Just ignore it, y'all.
Up and down that wall. Right.
Just ignore it. Yeah, Painting, that's true. Where's the shop footage? And the other thing, we brought this up the first live, Letha, but you weren't there. I'm curious what you think. And Alicia, you too. Why wasn't the hotel room 926, why wasn't that a crime scene? Why are there no photos of that?
They said they went to the room, and when they got there, it was either being cleaned or cleaned. I can't remember.
And see, that's tampering with evidence right there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The first thing to me, I would go, okay, she was in room 9. You go look in the room, see any foul play in the room or any blood spatters, anything out of order. They never did any of that. Because you know why? They didn't do it. Because they already knew where she was and they knew what happened. They all in this shit together.
Yeah, there's so many questions, and we've got the time to cover it and bring attention to it. And the more that we do, the more that we'll be able to use our resources and investigate this. And this is how cases get reopened. This is like, I had to look into it. Like I said, I was so ignorant, but this really is how you get cases open. You put pressure until it bursts. Period.
God has showed us how to do it. And then we have Miss Harris that's she's gonna do it.
And this is my thing. No one can sit here and tell me that the police did a good investigation. No one can tell me. And if you argue that, it makes me wonder your intentions. So beyond anything, I'm not saying what happened to her. I don't know. All I can do is reasonably speculate. But what I do want is a clean, real investigation. That's all I'm asking for.
Yes,
I'm asking for them to treat this young lady with the dignity that she deserves and give her a fair, honest investigation. That's it. Yes. That's all. I'm not going to argue back and forth about all the semantics and stuff, especially when half of yours are tainted. You're asking me to trust this footage. I don't trust the footage. And it's bizarre to me so that people do.
But see, the thing about the footage is the footage that you gave us, how can we trust it when it don't make sense?
Right. It's like pieces of a puzzle and there's pieces missing.
Yes.
Now,
but nothing to see here, whatever, just keep going. Let this lady rest in peace. How dare you guys give a shit about a young lady, that story doesn't make sense, Yeah, that sounds right? That sounds good.
They didn't go in there and electronically retrieve the IP surveillance unit. They should have got a warrant to take the whole unit. You didn't do that. Why? That's the question. Why?
these are simple questions, and it's not even. I mean, I'm not. You know, you'll sit here and believe in aliens, but you'll say that Rosemont did a good job.
I know.
Oh, what the fuck? Oh, what the fuck? Come on.
Well, common sense, you know, like they say, is not so common.
But here's the thing: if it was your child, if it was your sister, if it was your mother, if it was your, would you say it was a good job? That's the question.
Right.
I see you laughing, T. I see y'all laughing.
That goes back to what you were saying earlier, Karen. It's karma. It might not happen to you, but it could happen to your kids. Something it'll make you. You reap what you sow.
Humble. It's called humble pie.
Right. Yeah. Right. Like the attorney said, her pants was down. Her all this was up. He was like, no. Now, if that was your daughter. If that was your daughter, your mother that went in there like that, would you say, oh, they did a good job and they didn't release all the footage for you and they also didn't get the units? Would you say, oh, it's a good job, but they had plenty of time to go in, time at the time, and get a bit by bit copy? They still didn't do it. You're going to let a hotel who going to be held liable turn over something to incriminate themselves with?
I'm gonna indulge this one real quick.
Teresa came into the hotel asking, can you please check the footage? So, but why couldn't they do that? That was simple. That was so easy.
I want to indulge this one real quick because this gets happened. You can piggyback me, AM, but this is
Miss Martin messed them up. She messed their timing up. See,
no, you're right.
They whole plane up. She messed it up.
We talked about this on our last live, and y'all can piggyback because this is true. Teresa said that nobody killed her daughter because her lawyer informed her, and this is the real truth, okay? The burden of proof is on Teresa if she says that someone murdered her daughter, okay? Right. However, there's not a reasonable, real investigation that happened for her to be able to do that. So first she has to sue and go through this route, then to be able to get a new investigation. So for her to say, oh yeah, someone killed my daughter, then she would have to go in court and to prove that because the burden of proof is on her, right? Rosemont doesn't have to do anything.
But when it comes to a civil suit, they have to just prove negligence, and that my friend is easy.
Right.
And liability. Liability and negligence is what they're being sued for. Liability and negligence.
Now that's what they're being sued for.
Before you go there, let's think about this. They sent a talking head out there to already begin to spin a story. They're only concerned with their monies, not people. It was never about a person. No. Just like Larry Holmes got up in there and they did not check him for saying, I saw the video footage. I saw her walk in there. And because the news anchors and everybody else, now Chicago Tribune and some more news channels came out and said, guess what? You'll never see her walk into the freezer because they don't have that footage. They don't have it. They don't have it.
It's true. And so I just like, because I like to, that's something that gets said a lot. And it's usually by the dumbest
so prove
people.
To me that she walked in there. You got video footage of everything else, but so happened the cameras that should have captured her going in there, none of them working.
Great question.
And notice he said he saw her, and notice he said he saw her on camera frantically opening doors, trying to open doors. We didn't see any of that footage.
And T-Night is saying, what was security doing? What was security? What was the thing that security was doing?
What quote not security things was he doing? Because whether Gray likes to admit it or not,
please don't bring his name back up in this chat. Please do not mention his name again in this chat.
No problem.
I'm trying to be funny.
When the security guy, why did he keep putting his coat on? When he put his coat on, was he going to the freezer? Right. Surveillance footage. Was he going to the freezer when he put his coat on? He had people on one footage. He did have blood. He did have a bloody towel or something on his nose or something. It wasn't food in his hand. They screenshot where they went all the way in on it. It was blood on a towel or something. Why was he bleeding? Why did he leave the country? Is he the one that left the country or told the police he was leaving the country?
I would have to go back and verify if he's the one that left the country. One of them.
Yes, she's right.
Is he?
I think, what is his name? Franz? They say his name Franz
yes.
Cruz?
Yes. I'll pull it up. I'll send it to you. But I feel like my comments true, and I feel like what's going on is
a cover up, plain and simple.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Can I make it any plainer? A black girl died. We don't care about that. Let's move on.
And then how was she in the freezer? And then one of the pictures, you see her foot is in the doorway of the freezer. You couldn't close the door with her foot right there, could you?
No, you couldn't. No, you could not.
I thought that was weird. I thought that was very strange.
And let me hit the hotel manager again.
Yeah, I can't stand it.
The detective asked you, was the light on?
Right.
When she walked in, you couldn't remember, but the light was on when they got back there. Somebody turned it on. But you said it was too dark for her to see.
Mm-hmm. They proved that the light was off. He never turned that light on because when the light did come on, we could see it. And then he sure did go. He said he was. Did you see in his statement how he told the police he found her body? He never just said, "Oh, I found her." He was just He
didn't run out of there either. He didn't run out of there. He went straight to that freezer.
That's right.
Oh, I checked here first, and then I checked there, but everything was supposed to be live.
Oh, Letha, no, listen. When Painting Truth did that video, Mama, she did that video. And do you notice how when he walks, he makes a deliberate move to swing the keys to show that he has to unlock the freezer, which he didn't have to. I paid attention to all this. I've been studying body language and lie spotting for a minute now, y'all. And his body language is so off and so deceptive. And I'm going to point out in a video, Karen's going to help me, and so is Painting. But he walks and he doesn't take the first immediate way to get to the freezer, the faster way. He knows he's on camera. So he takes the long, deliberate way, doesn't go around the first corner, goes around the second corner, and then hits that freezer. And if you pay real close attention, he mocks opening that freezer. He's not opening anything.
And then you was talking about body language earlier. Then if you're looking for somebody, common sense, and you only see some foot, you're gonna touch it. Is she alive or is she dead? He never did any of that. He never did it. He wasn't even in there long enough. He said he saw her foot or her legs or something like that. He never touched her to see if she was alive. Or me, I would want to see if she got a pulse. Or he never did none of that. He knew she was dead.
Point, she's not dead. She's missing. She was missing.
That's right. She was missing. That's right.
Good point. God, I love you. Great point. Great point. And in fact, what he said, Mom, he tells one of the police officers, he says
he never saw a dead body before.
Right, that he never saw a dead body before, and that he didn't want the family to know that he's the one that found her because they were quote unquote gang members.
Wow.
Is that what he said?
Now, where did he get that from? Where did he get that from? See how people just go
through the police. See, they starting to spin stuff and paint a negative perception of people right from the beginning.
And I would never say that about Miss Martin. I'm not out here to put incorrect information. If I'm wrong, if I say something, correct me.
Okay, just think about what he said. If that's what he said, now allegedly. Okay, allegedly. Then if that's true, so they never expected nobody to look into it because we have the surveillance footage. We would know who found the body because we see him going back there. So they never expected this to get any attention or anything.
That part.
That shows it right there.
Right.
Oh, I'm so glad this happened. Yeah, perspective is everything. It really is, Painting. You're so right. And no urgency in his actions, but he made sure to be on the camera. The body language, when I explain it to you, I mean, I got resources from Stanford University, like major FBI behavioral analysts. Because Karen taught me, if you're gonna research and go for the best. She was telling me to go to the UK and use their medical information. Like, this woman is
use everybody. You go with the best. You go with the heavy hitters. You got to go.
And I'm gonna say this about that hotel manager again. With me, on looking at my computer and my phone and stuff, and zooming in and stuff. Me personally, just as my opinion, he was in there. That's Grabkanika. I saw the black pants, the white shirt. He's the only one that had on the white pants and white shirt and black pants. You could only see the white shirt and the black pants, but I would almost bet $5,000 on that he had something to do with it.
Alan, you're right. They watched the entire thing go down because they had access to the cameras. Said they watched the entire thing go down.
Yeah, they did.
They had access to the cameras.
Yeah. like you say, they can watch it from home. Anything going on, they can watch it from home or whatever. They can watch it from home. And you know, if Mama T is up there at the hotel back and forth, and they banging on the doors and stuff, you know they done call somebody, hire them, and say, look, we got a problem. And of course, what you gonna, if you land at home in the bed or on the golf course or on a yacht, you're gonna look at it on your phone, on your computer. You can look and see what the hell's going on.
Right. It thoughts, they did say she was frozen solid. How did they know that?
Yep.
Right. And that's another thing that bothers me.
But they did an autopsy the same day. So if you can't have it both ways.
How did they know that?
Well, we know that's not true because they even in their pictures of the freezer, it was only about 45 degrees. So, so it ain't no way she could have been frozen solid at no 45 degrees.
Right.
No way.
So what happened?
And my understanding, it had to have been below 0 is what I thought.
It would have to go be in the 20s or the 30s or on down. It was 45 degrees on that, according to the pictures that they showed. Now it was 45 degrees.
And no, you're right. And the other thing, because I watch a lot of ID too. Like I'm on your team when it comes to that. But I watched a special because I'll go to bed and watch those because like the tone of it is kind of helps me go to sleep. It's like off channel.
With me, Margot. That's exactly what I go to bed to is the ID channel.
Yeah. My boyfriend's like, "Why are you going to sleep to murder?" And I'm just like, "Mind your business. I'm researching."
It's soothing.
But they did
something soothing about it.
Y'all, they did a special on this girl, and this was like in the early 90s, I think, too, where this little girl, 6 years old, she was missing, right? And she lived up north where there's a lot of snow. They found her in the snow, I think, not face down, but just damn near it on her side. They took her to the hospital. She didn't even have a pulse at this point that they could feel. They took her to the hospital. Within 3 days of being on assistance machines, she came back to life.
Wow.
That's why hypothermia is so hard to diagnose. One of the reasons is because that's kind of if you're going to die or whatever, that's one of the best ways that you have a chance of really surviving. It's a slow and painful death.
Yeah.
Your entire body shuts down. Your muscles contract. It's awful. So she doesn't show any of those signs. And if she really did have that, then what they should have done is called 911 and brought her to a hospital and had a doctor do the time of death if it was necessary, but at least do life-saving techniques. There was no CPR. There was no nothing. And that's because she didn't die of hypothermia. That's because she was murdered.
Somebody in the comment section is pointing up this. They said Andrew Holmes said it was hot and the freezer wasn't on. She looked wet because it was hot.
So which one was it? It's hot and
but that's not what they reported in the police report. They have in the police report, the detective when they got there, they wrote down what the temperature. They wrote down the temperature on the and they were asking about what was the temp. They asked up the food and beverage manager what the temperature was. He couldn't remember. He didn't know. He lied.
That's your job. That's your job, though. It's your job, for especially, God forbid, in cases like this. Like you manage the food and beverage. Therefore, the freezer that stores the food and beverage, you would need to be aware about that shit. What do you get paid for?
And then they're saying why 11th floor was so much action with Miss Teresa, none on the 9th floor, because apparently somebody said from the 11th floor said that they had let Kanika charge her phone. That's what they said. She was charging her phone on the 11th floor. But keep in mind, the police also went to the 13th floor.
Right.
Wow. So they went to the 11th, the 9th, 11th, and 13th?
They went to the 13th floor.
But the beverage man, he went right to the freezer.
He sure did.
He had an epiphany.
Days later. Or a day later.
He had an epiphany.
Oh, sad.
It really is. But that's why we're here. Because we're going to discuss this case respectfully. And I really truly believe in my heart. I pray for this every day. I pray for strangers who I don't know who research this case every day. I pray for God to touch people's hearts that are hardened and are cruel about this case. Like, I believe that we can get this case reopened. I know because Karen told me to research that this is how you get cases reopened. And so again, I'm so humbled by you ladies. Like, thank you to the chat. Like, this is like, you're spending your Friday night being humble, discussing this. You could have done something different.
A good point. She said when the police called those who supposedly had the room, they said they had never been to that hotel. And that goes back to, if she never been to a hotel, how did she mysteriously just walk into a kitchen?
And those are things that need to be answered before you just close the case and blame. Because what pisses me off really bad about this case is they blamed it on her. They blamed it on her. They say she got too drunk. She took her a pill. She was wandering around the hotel and decided to take a nap in the
somebody
freezer.
is saying the kitchen wasn't in working order, so the freezer should have been on. That's why he didn't know. No, the kitchen was still being utilized. They can sit up there and say, he kept trying to say, oh, the kitchen has been inoperable, or, you know, it was not, it was down for 2 months. Hold on. Employees and management still going in and out the kitchen. You may not be prepping food in there, but you're still going in and out the kitchen.
Right.
So they still had access to the kitchen.
And Letha, why were there pillows in there? They were doing something in there.
Construction had, because they in there sleeping. Why would you have pillows in there unless you in there laying down?
Hello. No, you're right.
Yeah.
So many things wrong about this. You cannot tell me it's an accident. And if you do, I want you to prove it. I want you to really prove it.
Yeah.
And so far, nobody's done that.
True thoughts. Everybody with who's thinking logically believes that someone was in there with her. Yeah, you can see it because the one man came around and he peeked. He showed up in the kitchen. And he peeked. He did that peek around like, what's going on? Yeah, somebody was in there with her.
And I also think, Letha left.
Okay. Bye, Letha. I know she had her grands in the back, so.
And I'm probably gonna have to shut down here soon.
Yeah, we're gonna stop some
stuff. But I'll let Karen close out and Alicia and everybody say. But I just want to say thank you again to everybody, and I really just have so much love for y'all, and I'm so humbled by this and appreciative, and I really truly believe we're gonna get this case reopened, and I'm thankful to be able to do it with you ladies. I really am.
Oh yes, agree. I'm right with you there, Margot.
Yeah, we are. We're not for the cynicism. I really appreciate everybody's perspective, but like I said, I'm just not for the cynicism from the cynical perspectives. I'm not with that.
Right.
We're not
Me
with that
neither.
over here. We are moving forth on getting this case reopened. The Attorney General is contacting people back, so we don't have time.
I mean, here's my thing. I don't go to channels that think it's, you know, a psyop or a story or a book, and I don't go shoving J4K down their throat. So I would just appreciate it if everybody had the same respect.
Yes.
Oh, me, I done been on some channels now. I post up some stuff.
You know, I might say stuff, you know, about those channels, but I don't go over there and cause no ruckus. And I appreciate if they don't do that over here.
Well, like I said, I like stuff. I just, whatever. Attorney can see it.
I'm just very thankful and humbled. And I mean, like, I look forward to waking up in the morning, like, you know, because I've always been excited, you know, to do my job and to basically hang out. But now I have like another purpose and it feels good. And I wouldn't do this with any other ladies. Like, I feel like God has really done something special here and connected the right people to the right people, and just hang tight and pray and we can do this. Like, we really can. This isn't a movie. This isn't, you know, a joke to anybody. Like, we're dedicating our time to this until this case gets the proper investigation that Kanika deserved.
And I'm not with that racism either. I don't care if you pink, purple, polka dot, blue, whatever. You don't. It's just certain words that you know is code language for racism. And if you grew up years ago, you already know what it is. You already know. I'm not with the racism. I'm not with the cynicism.
Exactly.
I'm not with any of that. No, nobody got time for that.
Nope.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
All right,
No.
ladies, that's it from me. Thank you guys. Thanks to the chat, Alan, Mish, Tesha,
Everybody.
Payne,
Everybody.
Everybody,
everybody.
yes.
Too many
P-Night
people to get.
judgment season,
Yeah.
Precious, trying to just catch people as I can. True Thoughts,
Yeah.
Evelyn, thank you for that. Bobby, I've had
Yeah,
a
the
good
next
time, you guys.
live will be on Painting Truth channel, and she gonna handle it the way she handle it, because she no nonsense.
Nope.
That's
She
right.
is no nonsense, period. So thank everybody. We appreciate the input. What I like to say, everybody, keep researching, go to the best. Go to the people when you're researching information. There's law libraries out there, there's medical libraries out there. A lot of
And
people will
submit your
acknowledge
letters. Submit your letters.
submit your letters to the Attorney General. They are responding back. It's a lot of people when you call these organizations and stuff who will answer questions for you. So make sure you're doing that, and don't get caught up in the hoopla. So we're going to get out. Plenty much love to everybody. Have a pleasant evening and a pleasant night, a pleasant morning for some. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye, y'all.